Oh yeah,
You
it'll
know?
take its sweet time
Yeah.
loading.
There's always an awkward time period between when you hit the button and when things actually get popping, you know? But I think, yeah, it says that I'm live here. All right.
Awesome.
Okay. What's up,
Yo,
everybody? OJ here. Welcome back to another PE podcast, episode 98. We're coming up on episode 100, which I have something special planned for that episode, which I have not thought about at this point, but there will definitely be something special planned for it. Maybe a special guest or two. But yeah, episode number 98 is here. We've got some nice guests. Baron might be joining us later. My man's, getting ready for pal driving people or something like that. So he might join in later when he can because he put up something interesting on his channel. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we've got some great guests here. Avedon's going to be joining us shortly. He's got a couple things that he's got to take care of. He'll be back in just a bit. But we do have VSIPs. VC is here. VC, how you doing today?
doing all right, doing all right. Just been busy lately. I made a video yesterday about the summer triangles fest, as I would like to call it, because literally the whole thing was just triangles. So I just made a video basically all about triangles. I don't know. I commented on your post on Twitter about it. I had that picture of Keely with the triangle and all that. I don't know if you saw it.
I did see it.
Yeah, I made that. But aside from that, I've been all right. I've been playing Deadly Premonition Origins, getting hyped for the second game since that's a Switch exclusive that we should probably pay attention to. It's actually a really unique
right?
game. Timed exclusive, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's unique. It's a unique game, Origins. I'm only like 2 hours in right now, but it's not bad. It's just that don't expect it to be a great game. Don't expect it to be a bad game. But I'm not saying it's not a great game. You just have to experience it.
It's a really
That's just all I'm
weird.
gonna
It's a
say.
really weird game
It's
with
weird.
the cult fan base.
Yeah, like you could enjoy it. I could enjoy it once I'm deeper into it, but I'm still only 2 hours in. I can't say definitively how good it is, but it is definitely odd. Aside from that, everything else has been all right. Been all right.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. And Shadow Fox, man, how you doing? How you doing over there in Atlanta?
Pretty good. I have at least one video currently rendering right now, which should be done rendering, I guess, in another 30 seconds here, and I'll upload it. But yeah, so my channel isn't dead. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Streets of Rage 4 for some reason. I found a wall bounce combo that I really enjoy. So I'm having a lot of fun doing that over and over again. I don't know why. I've done like at least 12 playthroughs in a row just today. So
Ooh.
I don't know. Go figure. If it's fun, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are really enjoying Streets of Rage 4. Unfortunately, that went right into backlog, boys. Like almost instantly. I was playing it for a bit. I fought, got beat up, then I was like, all right, I'm gonna play it some more later with somebody online, and then I never got back to it. But I definitely have to. But I played it a lot though. I thought it's really good. Indivisible just got an update on the Switch, so I'm thinking about picking that one up. It's still not quite up to date with the.
Yeah, as
PS4
I
and
say,
Xbox
is the
One version.
update the up-to-date version?
Not quite, but they did the frame rate toggle. They did the
Okay.
1080p docked. They did optimizations on there. They made some quality of life improvements. So there is some stuff on there. So and they did say that they are going to update the game to get like the new game plus, which is like the big feature that's kind of missing there was new game plus. Really weird situation with that game. But apparently, I think Minato Mario told me that it's coming out physical in July. So I might just wait for the physical release. It is discounted on the Switch eShop right now, but I don't know. I'm just thinking about waiting. It's also cheap on PS4 and Xbox One. I almost bought it. It was in my basket. But then I just took it. I was like, oh, let me see if I want the Switch version because it's basically like Valkyrie Profile. You guys remember Valkyrie Profile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to play that on the go, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's just kind of something I kind of want to just play, if there is an NFL season or whatever, Like that's the type of game where if I'm watching like Forensic Files or something like that, I'll just kind of play it. It has some platforming elements in there. It doesn't seem like a game that I need to be sitting there and locked into a TV, especially on Xbox. So I was thinking, let me just wait for maybe the physical version. But other than that, in terms of games, I've really been playing too much just because I had to get this channel revamp. Still working on that. So new layout and everything, but.
nice backdrop.
Yeah. I think it's better than just seeing all of my whole room, the master bedroom, like the whole master bedroom in the background. I think it's a little bit better than that, and the carpet and everything. That's all I was thinking about flooring, but now I don't got to think about flooring anymore. So I don't know what else did I play this week? I know I played a game on the stream. I played Chrono Trigger on I think it was Sunday night or I forgot when it was. I forgot exactly when it was, but I recently played Chrono Trigger on stream, and that was great. That was fantastic. Chrono Trigger still holds up, today.
Yes.
I think it's very good. The dual text and triple text, man. Like it had everything of like it had everything of one of the late Super Nintendo games, because that was a 1995 game. So that game's still really good. Love that game. Definitely plan on playing some more.
Maybe the design holds up. Has any other game done that where you could just go back and change endings based on what you've done via time? Like
there are, I think Breath of Fire has some multiple endings. I don't know if it's based off of it's not time traveling, but Breath of Fire definitely has, I think, some different and there's some other games too, but none of them with the impact that Chrono Trigger had, with the exception of maybe Breath of Fire 2. I mean,
Chrono Trigger is a huge game. When you just think about all the work that went into that, like that's large scale planning. Like I don't know how else, and I haven't seen the RPG like that had that much branching, that much forethought put into it. I haven't seen anything like that in a while. Chrono Trigger is a special game.
Yeah. Shout outs to Barber, which is a little bit ago, about an hour, but he donated $5 and says hashtag Animal Cross.
I heard Chrono Trigger.
Yes.
Hashtag Animal Cross, hashtag Baron, hashtag RGT85, hashtag Rage Quitters, JK. Thank you, Barber. Also, shout outs to Halifax with the re-membership up. I haven't seen him in a while here, but he came back and hit us with that Renengan. So thank you so much, Halifax. Thank you for coming back to the village, my boy. Good to see you here as well. And speaking of Chrono Trigger, speaking of my boy, Abaddon, how you doing today, man?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing all right.
We living.
Chrono Trigger needs to come on Switch immediately.
Well, how about
such a good game?
How about Panel de Pawn instead?
Yes, that's a pretty good puzzle game.
I raise you a Panel de Pawn.
I raise you a Wild Guns.
They need to just end the service, guys. They need to just cut it. Just be like, all right, we gave you enough games, enough.
You know what? This is a very rare episode because I actually agree with VC.
Cut the show. Cut it off. You guys, no more Nintendo Switch Online service.
It's because at the same time, I feel as though, and hear me out.
You mean NES Online and SNES Online, right?
I'm talking about the way they're doing it is really it's poorly managed. It's poorly managed. It's not listening to the fans on what people would actually desire to play on the go like that. I can understand having the Netflix on the go service, and on paper it sounds like a really good idea. But the problem that I have with it is they're not really looking at the games that people want to play. We've been saying for the longest time, Chrono Trigger. There's no Super Mario RPG. The only RPG on there I think is Breath of Fire, if I'm not mistaken. But you don't have any
Breath of Fire, and I think there's a couple other things, but yeah, there's not many RPGs essentially.
Exactly, and it's like you don't have the Super Mario RPG. Granted, we did get Seiken Densetsu Collection, the Secret of Mana Collection, as a separate game in itself. That's cool, but there's not much. There's not even much fighters. You don't have Killer Instinct on there. You don't have too many other real fighting games on the Super NES. Super NES was a fantastic console, and when you look at that online service, it's almost like, okay, like where is Maximum Carnage? Where is Separation Anxiety? It's like, I mean, if you can't work to get these games from these other creators, that's fine. But at the same time, the biggest issue that I have with Nintendo right now, that I have a bone to pick, if you're going to go through these court orders and take down all these ROM sites, ROMs that are not even yours, these ROM hacks that were made from scratch, and games that are not even only Nintendo IPs, but Sony and everything else. If you're going to take down these ROM sites and not provide another great alternative for people, then you're doing more than harm than good to the gaming community, in my opinion.
Thank you, because I feel the same way about the ROM community and all that.
You're talking about the old NES and SNES ROMs that there's no other way to get those. That too,
because it's like it's almost like they're destroying, but they're not providing an alternative. And I don't mind. Protect your IPs as a business. I get it, but provide an alternative at the same time, a good alternative.
Could they actually get there's so many games. Is it actually feasible for them to get all of that crap on there and like in a timely fashion?
Well,
they did it on Wii, so I would imagine
it's possible. They
turn it around.
I would say because the thing about it is you could slowly bring back the virtual console games. You don't have to flush them out all at once, but it's not even on a monthly basis anymore. At least with the NES, there was a monthly basis. Now it's like every 3 months, and there's games that nobody's asking for. On the Super NES, arguably the best console of all time. You're getting one of the best consoles of all time, and you're not gonna like put like some of the best games on there of all time on the go. It's mind blowing to me. That's why I do agree with OJ that I do feel Chrono Trigger like standalone game is coming to the Switch somehow. I feel as though what they may end up doing, OJ, they may come out with a Chrono Trigger collection where it'll be Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. They may get a Chrono Cross port on the.
That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing if they did that. That would be absolutely amazing.
Cross, but that's a deep cut.
The only thing that I can think of when it comes to like this whole virtual console thing is essentially they probably, and what I've heard, I think what people have said is because of indies. I think that's the biggest issue. You know, is that games a lot of times people just buy those and they don't buy other things. They just buy that. So that's
I feel like it's impossible now. The eShop's completely flooded. I went on the other day. I could not even find Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, and
you have to search it. That's how many garbage games from the eShop are in there. Like mobile.
Yeah, if you're looking for Streets of Rage 4, just search Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, I know, but I would think it's in recent releases 4 days later, right?
And I feel as though even with that, they should have some type of organization when it comes to organizing their video games on the Switch eShop. It's almost like you really have, like you said, you really have to use the search option a lot. And I would say I'm not trying to act like I'm trying to nitpick with Nintendo and everything, but it's just like I feel like with with NSO they dropped the ball hard. Yeah. Like especially since, because I remember back when I did gaming news, I covered this. It's like their main focus.
How's my mic low?
Your mic is low?
Yeah, they said my mic's low, so I'm not sure how my mic is low.
You're not really sounding low to me though.
Yeah, but we sound cool on Discord, so it might be different on the OBS settings. It's like
I don't know.
He may be low. How well you probably won't tell. How many decimals are you in Streamlabs?
I've boosted it all the way up. I'm not sure what's going on.
But like I said, after the tech demo conforming PS5, Baron, get in the chat, get in the conversation, get out the chat.
Baron's right though. Like, dude, this Nintendo Switch Online crap has been going on for years now. Like, in my opinion, I ignore it. I don't even. But then again, I guess I'm not the right person to, because like I don't care about having 5 billion classic games to play.
Nintendo games.
We can't turn a blind eye to everything. You know, can't turn a blind eye. Never.
I'm not turning a blind eye. I just don't care. I just don't care about having 5 million old games that I've already played a million times. Over and over and over and over and over. Like
But you know what? I
don't even have the time to play all these games that I say that I want on the classic virtual console. I don't even have time to play all them. You know why I know this? Because on the Wii, I bought all that crap on the Wii and barely played them. Like, oh, that's great, and then never played them again. My Wii was chocked full of virtual console crap. And
getting them for free, then whatever.
It just ended up being a bunch of stuff that I barely played or played one time, that never played again.
Respect.
That's my thought. It's hard for me to care.
Move on. Out of respect for your time, everyone else's time. Let's move on.
Yeah, we got a lot of topics to get into, and I guess that wasn't even in it, but they just dropped the games. So yeah, that's why it even got brought up. Games. There was three games, and then I think one NES game. So games, I guess, right? Are they not games?
They are by definition.
Yeah, by definition.
It's essentially the panel upon it's Tetris Attack. Essentially, that's what that game is.
Yeah. Pretty damn good though.
It's good. People are like, oh my god, I can now play Tetris Attack online against people. I'll probably try it out because I actually like Tetris Attack on the Super Nintendo. I thought that was a pretty cool game, but we never got the vanilla version. Baron says he can't call. Important business call. All right, so that's fine.
All right,
it's all good.
Tell Tony I said hi.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing here. We're gonna talk about the Unreal Engine 5.
Yes.
I know. Shadow Fox probably has a lot to say about this.
Yeah, that's what my video was about. I'll speak last, I guess. I don't know.
Unreal Engine 5 and the PS5 tech demo. This or gameplay tech demo, according to Epic. This is a very interesting thing that happened because for the Summer Games Fest, which we're going to talk about this whole Summer Games Fest thing, and what's going on here. So Jeff Keighley, brings out Epic and their team, and they show off a real-time PlayStation 5 gameplay tech demo that was later revealed to be, they said, 1440p and 30 frames per second. Now, they went over a bunch of stuff during the stream, triangles and, and all sorts of stuff.
So many triangles.
And polygons. And, I mean, when you were watching it, there wasn't anybody talking over the video, was there? When you were watching it?
Yeah, he was still talking over it.
Yeah,
both of them were talking over it in different points.
Yeah, he was talking about how the triangles are as small as pixels and how there's 16 billion total triangles in just this one room. Blah 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 blah. Like
that was Brian Karras, and then the other guy, the special projects guy, was talking about the lighting engine that completely makes the ray tracing irrelevant on PlayStation 5. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. So there was a lot. Yeah, there was. Okay, now I remember. Yeah, there was definitely talk when they were going over it, and it wasn't just me, but in the stream, the people that were watching were like, we wanted games. Where were the games? Because that's not a real game. At least I don't think it's a real game at this point.
They said it was just a tech demo.
It's just
that
a
was
tech demo.
Tomb Raider.
It's a gameplay tech demo. It's a gameplay tech demo where somebody apparently was playing it on a PlayStation 5, but it definitely screamed, and I'm almost positive, which it was a paid advert from Sony. Sony paid Epic to PlayStation 5 the whole time. Paid him because they got a little squeamish when they started. Well, not squeamish, but they got a little, they didn't mention Xbox Series X. They didn't mention until the very end.
They didn't mention any of that.
Until Jeff Keighley brought it up. But in the whole demo, it was like PlayStation 5, which got, for some reason, people all of a sudden say, oh, look at this. This is only possible on the PS. This is why it's possible. It's like,
and that's still not true. It works for everything.
Yeah, it works. And it's going to be on everything. Unreal Engine 5, not all of the actual updates and improvements and graphical features will be on everything, but the engine will be on everything. It'll be on current gen, it'll be on next gen, it'll be on mobile, just like Unreal Engine 4 was. So I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's cool, and I get it, like, to see the future of games, but I think that, like, I don't know, I feel that personally for me, and I'll just go before I open up the floor to you guys. Like, VC, you're not as old, but you've been through a number of generations. Me and Shadow Fox have been through a ton of generations.
You guys were there from the ColecoVision.
You guys been there since Pong.
Yeah, we've been there since.
We've been around.
I was chilling with my homie Ralph Bear, like, hey, what up, bro? Like, in the old black and white picture.
Adventure.
I was chilling with Ralph, but he's out here with the Intellivision or whatever he did back in the day, bro. I was kicking it with him. So I've been through a lot of generations. I think at this point we all expect better graphics. But to me, what I'm seeing, it looks like it's like Horizon Zero Dawn, or it's like you take the best looking games and say, all right, hey, this is even a bit better looking, and we're gonna add like better light. It doesn't seem like it's not, because it's the law of diminishing returns. So it's like you can't do anything more than that. But I think that developers are gonna have a lot. Like, games are gonna look great. Obviously, games are gonna look great. Games are gonna play great. But it's not as exciting now. I just want to see the games, because the graphics already look good. You can't sit here and tell me, you look at Horizon Zero Dawn and say, wow, that's not impressive already. It's not like you can't blow Horizon Zero Dawn out of the water. You can beat it, but you can't blow it out of the water. You know what I'm saying? You can't blow God of War out of the water. You can beat it, you can get it more technical, like running better, frame rates, but you can't visually, you can't make me say, oh my gosh, this is like 5 million times better, or whatever the case is. Just like, like the difference between like 5th gen, remember 5th gen to 6th gen? Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah. That was like, we went from triangles and blocky people to realistic looking forms, and that to me was the big leap, because they actually look like people now.
That was them mastering 3D rendering.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the thing is, we're not gonna really experience that. Like, I feel like what I've been talking about this, in my Discord amongst other people, and to your point, OJ, like, we're approaching the law of diminishing return. It's almost like, how are you gonna reach that point of, I don't even see 8K being that much of a big difference visually. visually, as crisp as video games are now, you have to make it almost look like it's real life almost.
Real quick, Abaddon, I'm gonna say that you've already confirmed that the law of diminishing returns was there by mentioning 8K.
Yeah.
Had we not jumped from 480p, which we were in SD for the better part of the first 6 generations.
Yeah.
If we had not jumped to 540p, which is supposed to be HD for the majority of the 360 and PS3 life cycle, then there would be no difference really. And I guess as we increase resolution, we're not increasing fidelity exponentially. Like as far as what you're seeing in the game, hyperrealism, the things that should have been next after the 480p, the last 480p generation should have been real-time ray tracing. But since the resolution increased and since other things such as physics and stuff like that became more demanding and more RAM heavy, then we couldn't do that. So now we're finally in a generation where we can kind of do it in hardware, but we have to pick and choose bits and pieces of it. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
And no, you're good, because thank you for saying that, because it's like you actually brought me to a point that I wanted to touch. It's like I feel like we're in a focus of resolution and crispier and sharper resolution for all these games. We'll use we'll say that for the Xbox discussion, but I feel like we're just focused on resolution. Frame rate often suffers. Yeah. It's like I feel as though instead of just aiming for 4K 60, master 1080p or 144p. Is it 140? What? Yeah, 440p.
Yeah,
1440.
1440. Yeah, 1440.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I don't say it that often because I don't use that resolution that much. But
yeah,
14.
My monitor is 1440p though, so I'm used to saying it.
There you go. 1440p, 60 frames.
2K is what they used to call it back in the day.
There we go. Like I feel like 2K. I feel like 2K gaming. I don't like the sound of that. 1440p gaming. I feel like that should have been more of a focus of 60 frames per second in this generation. I felt like they should have continued the route they took with the PS3 going to the PS4, because the PS4 upgrade from the PS3 was more of a processing update. It wasn't more of a graphical leap. And I actually appreciated that. I appreciated that with the PS4. It was more of a processing jump, but it's like I feel as though if they would have continued that, they would have been good to go. Now it's like the craze is 4K, and I'm like, what good is 4K if games that need to be at 60 aren't? You know, I could understand, and we'll touch on this later, Assassin's Creed being 4K 30, but I don't know. I'm gonna pass it back to somebody else. I'm talking too much.
Like what major game on PS4, Wii U, or Xbox One is 1080p 60 frames per second at all?
Not many. And I think
1080p 60.
Yes,
that's not
like
that's still not a norm.
There's no adaptive resolution or anything like that active in the game at all. It's locked at 1080 60 frames per second.
Like there's definitely some games. Let me check. I think Gears, right?
The shooting games and fighting games
on base Xbox One.
Gears and like Call of Duties, right? Call of Duty games, Gears.
Well,
Halo, right? Or is it, what's Halo? I know that's 60.
Halo,
I think it's 60.
I think
Halo might be 60, but I think the resolution was not all the way 1080p.
Borderlands.
I want to say Mario Kart Deluxe.
These aren't consistent. Like none of these games are consistent. I mean, and it depends if you're playing it like on an X, or if you're playing it on an S, or if you're playing it on a VCR or a PS4 Pro or regular. So it varies. I mean, I don't know. There's probably some that people can talk about, but like even like Nier Automata on a PS4 Pro, I've played it on that, and it's definitely not locked. But it's good, but it's definitely not locked. It's not like the majority of major games are not, 1080p 60. Most of them are 30 frames per second. Like Horizon or God of War or stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's crazy to think of, because the whole point was that promise was supposed to be satisfied on base PS4 and base Xbox One. That was the whole point, and we that's even random on the upgrades for them. So it's like these are promises. Like I already tweeted about it earlier today. Like, can we get collision detection right? Can we get skinning right? Can we get animation right? Can we get rid of invisible walls?
I wish.
In games, all the CPU power that everybody's been bragging about generation over generation, why haven't they been solving these problems? But this, marketing goes to, unfortunately, the least of smart people. So whatever they drool over is what they're going to market to, I guess.
Yeah. What's VC's thoughts on these triangles on Unreal Engine 5 and all that?
Oh my God, so much triangles. I lost count after 24. That's how many times they said the word triangles in the 9 minutes.
24 triangles.
And but I stopped counting after that though, so it could be like around 30. But like they literally just kept repeating it so much, and it's like, we understand you're going to show a tech demo of gameplay for Unreal Engine. We see what the capabilities are. They were talking about the audio with the footsteps in the water. They were talking about all these things to make it so more immersive, but they showed it with a demo of a game that isn't even a game. It would have been nice if they had something else just to show what's to come, what's to happen, because people saw this tech demo and they're like, what the hell am I looking at in regards of what game is this? And then they realized at the end, oh, this isn't even a game. And then that's why people had so much backlash for it when they first had that presentation. But looking back on it, many people probably should have realized this is the future of gaming now, regardless. The engine is, if you look at all the previous Unreal Engines, they go for all different kinds of games. The Gears games use the Unreal Engine. How many? Like, there's a ton of games that use Unreal Engine. Name some.
Unreal Engine. Dragon Quest. Many of Square Enix's games.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy,
Yeah,
Dragon
Octopath,
Quest, Trials of
Octopath,
Mana.
yeah.
Mass Effect.
Many Bandai Namco games as well use Unreal Engine.
Tons, like fighting games,
fighting
FPSs,
games,
RPGs. It works for so many.
Dragon Ball
Fighters.
Fighters. There's just so many games. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Tekken 7. All these things. Yeah, all those.
Mortal Kombat still using Unreal Engine 3.
Yeah, it's using the super mod.
Yeah.
Did you hear them talk about what engine? Like what? It's modified so much that it's Unreal Engine, but it's so different from what Unreal Engine is because they've made so many modifications to it. That's why they were like, we probably shouldn't move over to Unreal Engine 4. Let's just use what we got. They're like,
did you see Ed Boon hint at them using 5 though?
Yeah, I did see.
Yeah.
I think it's time for them because they've been using that same 3 since the Mortal Kombat on the 360 and PS3, Mortal Kombat 9. So they've been using that same base one for all this time through Mortal Kombat 9, 10, now 11. The Aftermath is coming. So I think they're going. But I think it's because they're going to be able to easily move things over. I think maybe it might be easier move over.
I think
than
UE4 was a protest for them because they spent so much money on 3 that they're like, we'll only move to 5 if and only if everything that we've done here will be in there. So I'm pretty sure they made concessions for them. So.
And even then, they had all that extra Fortnite money lying around anyway. So if they did put any of that money into anything, it's not surprising if they did.
Epic is filthy rich. Like
GTA 5 is free for the next week on Epic Games. If anyone still doesn't have GTA 5, 2K is Take-Two. They're milking the tit of GTA 5.
Or more like Epic said, hey, you guys want like $1 billion or probably million? You want like $15 million? And they're like, sure.
Yeah, we'll take it for 2 weeks for free. Sure.
Yeah. Shout outs to let's get some donations right off here before we kind of move into the next topic. Shout outs to Big Jeff, donated $1.99. Says, I agree and I understand the argument about protecting your IP, but at the same time, I believe the way you stop piracy as much as possible is to stop the illegal downloads and offer your games at a fair and reasonable price. So he's agreeing with what you guys were saying earlier with that.
Real quick on that though, it is actually legal via the DMCA. If that game is unavailable in any other way, shape, or form, it is legal for you to keep it for archival purposes only, for the purposes of keeping it restored. So if for whatever reason there's no other way to play this game and it can't be replicated in any other way, say like in the case of Final Fantasy VIII, if for whatever reason we were able to get the ROM before Square lost everything, we will have every reason to march on Washington and say, hey, look, do not strike this ROM because there's no other way to buy it or get it. So
yeah, just like the Mario 64 ROM that was out the other day on PC. They took that down.
But
now that one's a little bit different though, because you can buy that game 50 million different ways.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to buy Mario 64 that's available for people.
On the Switch?
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be on the current.
It's still available on many other ways.
It's still available. That's supported. That's
excluding the Wii U. Can I find out what's the best way to find it aside from eBay or Amazon?
That's not the point though. The point that it's available.
That's
the point that it's available. If you're talking about legally, the point that it's available on a service that's supported.
Yeah, but
like there are legal servers of EverQuest and stuff up right now because otherwise there's no other way for people that originally paid for the game to play it. So they
the same for Phantasy Star Online 1. There's servers for that game. I think
right?
Ultima. No, people still do play that game. Ultima and the Scar. I forgot the other ones. Two servers.
Astronauts Call too.
Yeah, there's two servers for Phantasy Star Online. In fact, they fused episode 1, 2, and 4. A lot of people didn't get to play 4 together. Blue Burst, exactly. So they could do that. So.
Also, shout outs to Psycho Pie with the $3, and he says, with this whole FPS, I think frames per second talk, frames per second talk, could this be a console exclusive? I'm able to play most games at 4K 60 frames per second on PC, likely the discussion. I think he meant like the discussion. You mean a console exclusive? He's talking about. I don't know. Okay.
Is there a console exclusive that has those attributes like 4K and all that?
60 frames? Is that what he's saying?
I think.
He said this is whole talk about frames. Okay, I think he's talking about like the 30 frames per second talk compared to like the demo. Is it console exclusive? Well, it's based on your hardware. Every single PC is not going to be able to run Unreal Engine 5 at 60 frames per second for every single game. It's just based on what hardware that you have. So obviously PC is going to be able to do things differently because you're going to have multiple graphic settings for your games and resolutions and texture. Like you're going to have way more customization. So even if, things are going to be a bit different. So it is kind of more of a console thing because those are set boxes. Sometimes developers do give options to, performance mode, right? Heck, we've even seen it in, some of the games that Nintendo's put out. Performance mode where you can play the game, like at 60 frames per second or close to that and lower the resolution, lower the detail, or you can play it at 30 frames per second. I think the first Switch game that I did that with, that was Fire Emblem Warriors back in 2017. They're like, hey, you can play it in 30 and it looks pretty good, or you can play it at 60. And I was just like, and I played it in 30. I was like, I'm just going to play it in 60.
I want to dispel a misconception right now, too. Not all games and their issues are hardware bound. A lot of that stuff was software bound and driver based. Because there are people right now with 5700 XTs on PC right now that are having issues in random games. You could have the most powerful hardware and still have these issues and still not have consistent frame rates across every game. And even in certain games, you're going to come across an issue that's extremely CPU bound or RAM heavy, and you're going to end up having to dial down settings to be able to play through that game at an acceptable frame rate. That's just the nature of the beast. So it doesn't really matter as far as hardware goes. It's really up to the developers and how each game masters how to keep performance acceptable throughout the entire game. So you kind of have to. It's a love it and hate it kind of cat and mouse game, but a certain level of hardware doesn't guarantee it unless all the developers come and agree on what's set before you, or the hardware is just that streamlined ahead of time that the majority of game engines fall in line with that. And we know on PC that is definitely not the case.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. I think Unreal Engine obviously is gonna be amazing on PC. I think you get a game like Fortnite on Unreal Engine 5. That's gonna be that might be something to see when that happens on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. But one more thing before we leave with this topic here, guys. So we did discuss, is this thing going to be on Switch? I know Doc Trey just put out a video. I wanted to get I'm not sure if you saw that video, Shadow Fox, but Doc Trey put out a video saying maybe that with the updates to Unreal Engine 5 in terms of the porting process, or in terms of the engine itself and the updates that they've done, it might make even getting Unreal Engine games on Switch easier than it was before. with Unreal Engine 4. So what are your thoughts on that, on limited information that I guess that we do know?
So that's kind of linking into a video that I'll be uploading pretty soon here. It's dealing with one of the things that Brian Karras was talking about, and it's actually something he's been working on for, I want to say, the better part of 10 or 11 years, and that's virtual geometry. And virtual geometry is a take on virtual texturing, which every GPU had since Wii U. So basically what you're doing is you take a set of texture layers and you assign them a value in a table, and you're able to mark exactly what type of texture was assigned to what pixel at what time and what frame. All he did was say, hey, if we can do that with textures all the time, going all the way back to DirectX 9 hardware, why can't we do that with geometry, with Vertex? So we can use a Vertex Shader to map where vertexes are on each frame, instance them, and create a virtual machine for them. And so whenever you need to do a draw call or whatever, and say it's a lot of polygons or whatever, you preload all those polygons several hundred milliseconds or several cycles ahead of time. And then when you get to that big scene that needs all of them, you're streaming them in from previously. So essentially you could do that. Really, you could do that on Switch. The only limit would really be what your render target is, your total render target is, and at some point you'll run out of RAM. But really, there's no limit to that. The only issue is, and even he admitted this in his original 2009 paper, and I could probably show this in a later video or whatever, that's going to have an issue with things that deal with just-in-time type processes. So foliage, physics with foliage. If you notice, they had to specifically talk about their own physics engine that's going to go on top of this to make sure animations and cloth and stuff like that work seamlessly with this engine. Because since it's doing these, since it's creating these polygons basically ahead of time before the frame is actually rendered, these consoles weren't designed to render frames that way. So as you try to create, say, like a physics engine, say you try to import Havoc instead of using the physics engine in Unreal Engine 5, which you can do, you will have timing conflicts where, say, hey, like I want a ragdoll over here. Well, it's not animating right, but all these rocks are falling and they're not affecting all the rest of the objects in the scene because they aren't micro polygons, they're regular polygons, and they were rendered in the normal way old consoles used to do it. So that's why they only put like a little puddle of water in there, and they had like so they could show you what the algorithm, the baked algorithm that they had on hand there to show you that. But there were no trees throughout that entire demo, not one.
Yeah, there wasn't a single one. That's true.
And there was a lot of repeated textures too, so they could do the mega texturing to make it look a lot more convincing. But I think that will only work well if there's a lot of planning ahead of time about the limitations of that system. It can be great if it works out the way that he was originally planning, but that requires every developer of every game to be thinking the way that he was when he created this system. So, I mean, like I said, it's a gift and a curse. It can look great like how you saw here, or you can have a whole bunch of crazy stuff interacting with stuff the wrong way, depending on the game. So I would imagine fighting games will probably have some serious issues with this engine.
All right, well, we'll see how it all works out. Either way, definitely an impressive tech demo to say the least, and gameplay tech demo. And I'm looking forward to seeing Fortnite and some games. It's still going to be a little bit of wait, guys. We're not going to get that Unreal Engine 5 right away. It's going to be next year.
Yeah. Next year.
Man.
So it is going to be a little bit of a wait, but that's okay. It's good. When it comes, it comes. All right.
I will come on camera, but I'm in savage mode right now.
That's
eating a Crunchwrap.
That's fine. Don't worry.
What are you doing? What are you doing in Savage? What are you doing?
No, it's
Crunchwrap.
Nice.
Shout outs to the Crunchwraps out there.
I love Crunchwraps.
They're pretty good. I just make my own Crunchwraps now. You know, like
I need to learn. I need to get like you and do that.
Yeah, I just go to the store. I went to Walmart today and just bought or was it today or was it yesterday? And I just bought a 20 pack of or like the tortillas, and I just olive oil, just get a little bit of the light cheese, and you can just make your own. I make my own quesadillas and Crunchwraps now, so they're pretty good. They're pretty good if you just follow. This is what I realized with cooking: just follow the directions to the T. That's all you got to do. Stop trying to do your own thing, because if you can't cook, I can't cook. Just follow
Like
the
if you
directions.
can cook, do your
Follow
own thing.
directions.
Yes.
I'll let you on later.
But just follow the directions.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just if you can't cook, just follow the damn directions and things will taste good. That's that. I finally realized that. I finally started baking the chicken exactly what it tells me to do. Finally started putting like exactly if you do exactly what it tells you to do, the food actually tastes decent. So so I'm getting better.
And it gets juicy.
Yeah.
And if you wrap it up in tinfoil, chicken super juicy.
See, that's too much for me. That's what.
no, the tinfoil makes it nice. Oh,
That's too. That's
that's
too
when
much.
you upgrade to the next level.
Yeah, I'm not there. But my wife, she's oh my god, bro, she's
chef.
You gonna be blessed.
Yeah,
Yo,
she-
OJ gonna get
you're
a
all
whole 15 pounds.
There's a reason you
You're
wife
gonna be
her
finished
up. Huh?
with a 4-hour stream, and 5 minutes later, a nice plate of food.
Yeah, she's god tier cook. Well, I mean, I experienced it already. She's super like she's like MacGyver cooking. Like she'd be putting the strangest things together. Like she has like, let me give you a pack of noodles, some weird peppers, an egg, and like half of soy milk.
Sounds exactly. That sounds very familiar.
Yeah,
noodles with some eggs, with some peppers.
Yeah, they
with some fish too.
Nigerian
Yeah.
women MacGyver anything. You think it's
Yeah.
gonna be crap, and then it ends up being something god tier.
It works.
And it's like, oh my gosh.
They cook with so few things. But she's gonna go crazy when she sees the kitchen here, man. But all right, let's go to
Like
move on
how
to
the
the
kitchen looks or the food.
well, just the looks. Like I was there in Nigeria. I mean, like the kitchens, how they do certain things in certain areas is kind of different. So
Suspect out here.
electricity isn't consistent all the time too. Like at some places, depends on where you are, how many generators you have. But Abaddon knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go and let's get into this next thing here. We're gonna talk about some Paper Mario. So we got a brand new Paper Mario game
Yes, we do.
announced. VC, I know VC has much to say about this. All right, VC. Paper Mario.
A lot of people have predicted and rumored about it too. Let's get that out of the way. But I did say Super Mario Party 2 and or a Paper Mario remake or a new Paper Mario would come. Episodes 89, 91, 92, and a bunch of other ones in the 80s. I've mentioned it.
after
I know Frank was like, "Oh, do you know which videos?" And I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll go out my way to look and check." So I spent like half hour looking for all that.
This was after Emily Rogers literally told everybody that Paper Mario was
But
coming.
I knew before that though.
No, you didn't.
I did say before 84.
Okay.
And
all right.
some of the early 80s.
I think most people were expecting Paper Mario was something that people were just expecting. I mean, because we always get a Paper Mario. I mean, Paper Mario's it's always just been around, So
Yeah.
I would expect at this
Thank
point,
you.
the third year of the Switch, I would expect Paper Mario to be coming. I mean, it's just
Yeah, I'm glad it's coming.
with the
We
Wii
need
U.
a
It
new
came in the
Paper
fourth
Mario.
year of the Wii U. It came in the fourth year of the Wii U. It comes in the third. I mean,
It's literally on every console since the 64. So
yeah, it's been on everything. Paper Mario's
3DS
always on
as well.
everything. Yeah, it's been on the handhelds too, like the 3DS.
3DS,
Yeah,
yep.
like So, but Paper Mario: The Origami King. It's pretty crazy looking game. They're kind of adding some. It looks like it's not quite 1,000-year door. So people that are expecting
It's not.
it's
1,000
not
year
it's not 1,000-year door. It's not that type of game, but it's not Super Paper Mario. It's not Color Splash.
Well,
The exploration looks like
eh.
Super Paper Mario though.
That's what I was about to say. It looks like a fusion of Super Paper Mario and Color Splash.
Well,
Like
I meant the
ending-
combat.
Oh,
Oh,
well.
on the combat.
Combat.
The I was going with like where Shadowfox was going, like with the whole game as a whole. Was what
Yeah,
it
no,
looks like.
as
But
a
the
whole, yeah,
gameplay-wise,
yeah.
you're right. It's not the same as any of the games, to be honest.
Yeah, I was talking about like the combat. I just meant maybe focusing on the combat, because when I say 1,000-year door, I was particular about the combat, the humor.
I thought you meant as a whole.
Yeah, the humor, the writing. There's certain things that obviously it harkens back to multiple different Paper Mario games in the past, and everything like that. But to me, what's the most interesting? I do actually like the rotating of the panels to do the combat. That's something that I like, and how you can jump. And like you can get extra hits by doing that. I think that's cool, and it looks like a quality game. It looks like a really cool, funny adventure. in my opinion. But what are you guys' thoughts? I know VC, you're a big Paper Mario guy, right? Or yeah, so.
I do. I'm a big fan of the first 3 Paper Marios, including Super Paper Mario, which it isn't the same gameplay wise at all, but narrative wise, I love the narrative.
I love Super Paper Mario too.
Okay, we got Super Paper Mario fans here. Okay, cool. Then you guys, so you guys aren't gonna just. That's good. That's good.
He's the best. I love the Paper Mario series, and I've played Sticker Star and I've played Color Splash, and I hated Color Splash more than Sticker Star personally, but I see what's wrong with Sticker Star, and I know how bad of a game it is. I played through it, I beat it, and I was like, wow, this is a waste of 5 hours.
It's only 5 hours long?
Oh, when I beat it, it was that. Like, literally, like, two days I played the game, and it was done.
What about, did anybody here play Paper Jam? Because apparently Paper Jam is better than Sticker Star.
Yeah, Paper Jam is like Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. So it's like Mario and Luigi game, but Paper Mario's in it. So if you want like a Paper Mario RPG, he's with Mario and Luigi. Okay. That's basically what it is.
So it's not really...
I actually didn't get to try that, though. I have to play Paper Jam. Just because I didn't see that as a Paper Mario game. I saw it as a Mario and Luigi game. And I just, not to say I don't like the Mario and Luigi franchise, I do. But that franchise for me died off for me after a while. After Dream Team, things were just going off the rails. So, and you know what happened with them, Alpha Dream, after that. So.
Yeah,
I've seen that game played in my house. I haven't played it myself yet. But one thing I will say about all of them, the Nintendo Treehouse is saving that franchise. Whether it's the gameplay is good or not, whether the combat systems are the favorite way you like it or not, that writing is hilarious and it's on point, it's self-aware.
You guys keep talking, I'll be right back.
Okay. Right. Yes, I that to me that's been the identity of Paper Mario since Thousand Year Door for the most part. They kind of took the game and just said, hey, look, it's its own thing. We're gonna make fun of ourselves. We're gonna make fun of the Mario franchise and the real world. And to me, that was kind of the best things. PlayerEssence in the chat. That's awesome.
Yeah, and see, that's one of the things actually. You mentioned that going along those lines of things that are been changed or different. I like how with this game, unlike Color Splash, they didn't rely on the Koopalings as like enemies, and I felt that was a cop out on Color Splash for having that being an enemy, because every Paper Mario game had like some sort of unique enemies, some sort of unique concept or theme with the whole game's narrative, and with Color Splash, it felt really disappointing because it really felt like Sticker Star. Yep, and it felt rushed. Yeah, I agree, and that's why with this game, me personally looking at it, it looks like it was made in the same engine as Color Splash, but they really incorporated that origami paper element to it, and I actually like how it looks, even though it's not the same Paper Mario that many of us like or have remembered as we were growing up with the N64 Paper Mario and with all the other Paper Marios from Thousand Year Door. And for those who do like Super Paper Mario, because I know there's people who don't like that game, man. It's kind of disappointing that people don't like that game because the narrative in that game was so good.
If you expected Thousand Year Door, I see why you're disappointed. But that was just an action adventure game, and it was great for what it was. As long as you're able to check, like when I was playing a game, and I was like, oh, so this isn't an RPG, okay, and I was fine. That I was okay with that. I guess more people thought that it was going to open up and be one, and I'm like, well, I don't know what you expected at that point. It was like more of a Metroid than it was an RPG.
Yeah, I just sent it in the Discord chat right here. But there's a game that is coming out on May 28th on the eShop on the Switch called Bug Fables, and it's basically a Paper Mario Thousand Year Door successor. It literally looks like the old school Paper Mario games. The RPG style, the gameplay is exactly the same, and you play as a bumblebee, a buck bumblebee.
It's not a buck bumblebee.
But it's a bee. It's a bee, though. It's a bee.
It's a bee, though. It's a
bee, though.
No,
but it looks great.
The interesting thing to me, I mean, like Super Paper Mario, that was like, like an action adventure. That threw me for a loop because I was like, this was back then when
you were expecting RPG.
I was expecting RPG. I had just got back from there was like a 3-day weekend or something in college, and I wasn't really paying attention to gaming news as much. I was just doing other things. I was still gaming, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't paying attention like I usually pay attention because of school. I took college very seriously. At that time, it was 2007, I think, when that game came out, right? 2006, 2007,
It's kind of a bad title too.
Yeah,
Also.
so
Kind of deceptive.
I was really, because I just transferred and I was taking school very seriously. I wanted to get my scholarships, right, or otherwise they'll stop giving them if you don't get those grades. Whew, they pull that money quick.
They will.
But so I wasn't paying attention to gaming news as much, and I go to, I think it was Hollywood Video. You guys remember old Hollywood Video?
Yeah, I remember Hollywood
Yeah,
Video.
I go to a Hollywood Video.
$1 cheaper than Blockbuster. That's that was their claim to fame.
Yeah, man. And I remember I go there and I said, "Oh, the new Paper Mario game's out. Cool." So I go and rent it. I'm like, I can't wait for a nice RPG adventure for this 3-day weekend. You know, maybe I'll beat it in like a whole 3-day weekend, because back then I could just play games. You know, I didn't have a job like that, so just play games. And all of a sudden I'm like, hey, what's going on here? I'm like, I'm just moving around. I'm jumping on things. I'm like
platforming, and
yeah,
it's like
I'm platforming. I'm like, where the hell are the battles? Like, I thought it was like a joke. I thought it was like oh, well, it's just a phase of the game, like the beginning phase, like Metal Gear Solid. Like, oh, you play as, I don't know, Snake for that little bit, then all of a sudden writing comes later. I thought it was some type of weird, sick joke. But no, man, that was the whole game, and I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed with that game, man. Oh my god.
It's crazy because it was a GameCube game at one point. It was just Thousand Year Door Miyamoto playing with physics is what it was. So it was just you looking at that engine, and he's just figuring out how you can do platforming and combat and exploring in different perspectives using the paper.
I know it's not a horrible game. Like, I know, like, the narrative was there, and like I know it's like the problem is, like, I was expecting. That was the biggest problem. If I knew it going into it, I would have been like, okay, I'll give this game a fair shot. You know?
And now, OJ, just imagine that same fan base of people have been feeling the same way as you just said for the past decade plus.
That makes no
Think
sense
about that.
Yeah,
I think Avedon mentioned it earlier on Twitter to me with Tether Gaming. We were all talking on Twitter, and basically people were complaining about the game because it doesn't look like Paper Mario, and it's like, this is just the future of Paper Mario. If this is what it looks like, this is what it looks like. But gameplay wise, we don't officially know everything yet. We need to wait, see. We only got a few small bits of gameplay. We just got that little wheel, and currently we're not even 100% sure if that's in every single place that you battle.
That might be a mini game.
Yeah,
yeah. There's many. Yeah,
like
they did say, if you read the extended press release, that there are mini games that are a big part of it. So we don't know how it's going to affect. We don't know the intrinsic. We don't know the guts. Like, you know, like, for example, like Ghost of Tsushima, which we're going to talk about in a bit. We didn't know the guts of the game in terms of stuff, but now we know the guts of it. So it's got me a little bit more excited about like the upgrading and things like that. We don't know how this game ticks with the combat, like, because like there's an HP bar, right? There's an HP bar.
Yep.
There was like a little boots or whatever that you use, so you can. There's certain equipment that you can use, certain damage. So we don't know exactly all the you know, how things work. Like, okay, do you get experience normally? Like, how do you upgrade? Because there are upgrades. Obviously, there are upgrades and improvements. How do you do that? So if they kind of fuse a little bit of that with the new stuff, you know, and like I said, I like the turn-based battles. I like the fact that it's turn-based. I think Color Splash was that was turn-based, right? Color Splash was, or was it
Sticker Star formula, cards?
Yeah, card. Like, it was like a card-based type of.
And they implemented a paint feature as well.
Okay.
With that game, Color Splash.
Yeah, I played a bit of Color Splash, and I was just like, this is. I mean, I didn't like the gimmick with the Wii U gamepad. For me personally. So, and I think that this type of game, this is a really cool game that, you know, to play portably. Like, I think that'd be dope, right? To kind of play it like that too. So
it would be dope. I'm just hoping it does stick to that gameplay formula, because I took a screenshot. If you want, I'll send it in the Discord for you guys to see if you want. But basically, in the gameplay, they showed Mario jumping on 4 boos, and he was using what to me looked like either a special ability or a card. It's not sure yet, of course, we don't know. But it looked like a card called Shiny Boots. And usually a jumping attack would be either jump, something boot, metal boot or something. They would always have different names for them.
Spike step on everything.
Yeah, so I saw that, and I'm keeping an optimistic view. I'm thinking there is still regular jumping, regular hammer, but if you wanted to use cards as a special attack, that's what it could be. As a consumable item that's like, I don't know, as a special move. which is what I'm hoping for, because I really don't want that card formula to come back.
Brian Jedi, sorry, Brian, I should have got. I didn't get to your comment early. You didn't have to donate to do that. I was just I had to use the restroom real quick. And grab some water. Brian Jedi with the $1.99. Thank you for the $1.99. He says, kind of interesting the way they revealed too. Yeah, this was something that I popped off on a little bit on my stream earlier, which I was just joking with Fireblast. You know,
that was funny.
So I like to joke with him because he's young. So I like to tease the youngins just a little bit. But yeah, I tease you guys. I mess with Notice how I don't mess with anybody older that could potentially be older than me, but I tease everybody younger than me. That's just the age that I grew up in. All right, guys. It just happened to me, so it's happening to y'all. All right.
It is.
But I don't mess with Shadow Fox. I don't mess with people like that. I don't mess with certain people, you know, just because if they're older than me. But if you're younger than me, I'm gonna mess with you a little bit because my brother relentlessly messed with me. My brother, I got relentlessly messed with, you know, when I was on the football team, got relentlessly messed with. So I'm gonna tease y'all a little bit when it comes to certain things. Let's talk about the little bit of the what's it called, the reveal, because some people were saying that they should have revealed this. It should have been earlier. And my whole thought process is, what does it matter? It's semantics. Like, you want to wait longer for a game, or
okay?
I don't get it.
I'm about to go on a rant.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why you want to wait longer for the game. They announce it. The game's here. It's gonna be here very soon, 2 months, and we're gonna get it. Who cares if it's announced 3 months ago? I mean, like, so I kind of went off on that. I think it's stupid. But what's your thought?
I agree.
Okay, here's my thing. What does it hearing the game earlier? How does that release the game sooner? Like, that's like the number one thing in my mind. It's like, does hearing the game coming out like somehow make the game come in your lap faster? Because 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. I don't understand. It's like people saying they should have announced this during the mini direct. I'm like, what difference would have made? If anything, if we're being real and honest with the amount of games that came out between that direct and now, it probably would have gotten forgotten about. Or it probably wouldn't have gotten as much traction. People that, oh yeah, that game is coming out afterwards. Hearing the game now, especially, first of all, can we talk about the marketing Nintendo did? They waited until they was going to show Ghost of Tsushima's gameplay trailer, to show that. That is what you call a high-level business marketing move. Because now, before...
You really think that's what the case was? Or was it the other way around? Who knew what was going to be announced when first?
I feel Nintendo got the jump because we knew for a while, not for a while, but a good amount of time that Nintendo was going to Sony was going to show off Ghost of Tsushima. And the thing about with Nintendo, that was just a trailer. They didn't have to do no gameplay. That trailer, you could tell that trailer was done for a while. So, oh, that's coming out today? Okay, release it this morning. The morning of. Like, literally the morning of. So people are talking about Mario before anticipating and being built and hyped up about Ghost Tsushima. And now, and on top of that, the reason why I'm mentioning that, it's coming out on the same day. On top of that.
That's so crazy because those are two completely different games. And I don't think
Doom and Animal Crossing New Horizons were two totally different games, and we know which one was a big hitter.
Well, at the same time,
I now announce it's a joke, OJ. I now it's just a joke at this point.
Yeah,
I'm laughing. It's a joke in this. That's why I'm laughing. I'm not even gonna say like big hitters, baby.
I get what you're saying. You think
Nintendo knew the release date too?
But you see, because Ghost of Tsushima was leaked. The release date was leaked. Remember, that was leaked the same day as when they announced Last of Us. They announced Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima at the same time for release dates. So Nintendo knew for a good few weeks now about that release date. So to release it on that same day and talked about on that same day, yes, they're two totally different games. But at the end of the day, they're still competitors. The brands are still competitors.
Yep. July 17th?
Yep, July 17th.
Exactly.
And Nintendo normally doesn't release. They don't normally launch on Fridays except for big games like Mario Kart.
Exactly.
They normally launch on Sundays.
Wait, no, hold up. Launch on Sundays, who?
Yeah, what?
Nintendo used to. They used to launch all their games on
the
Sundays.
Wii U era, which I absolutely hated. I absolutely despise that. As if you're working a normal job, you don't got any time. You don't got any time to play the game. You know?
Yeah, they had been doing that for a while though. They did it during the GameCube era too. It's just like they just didn't follow tradition what anybody did over here. They did everything how Japan did stuff. So they launched games on Sundays, and I guess that was whatever off day the kids had over there.
That's the off day in Japan. Kids have
school is all year round. Yeah.
Kids have Sunday off. That's it. They work They go to school Monday through Saturday in Japan. So that was their logic was, okay, well, release it, but why here too?
Yeah, they did it worldwide on Sundays.
They would do worldwide on Sundays. Some of the games would be worldwide on Sundays, or it would be staggered where it would be Sunday in Japan, but it'd also be Sunday here too. It's just like, I'm tired of these Sunday releases, man. Like I couldn't do it. That was something that I just didn't like. I really didn't like.
That was another timeline altogether.
Yeah, that's the Wii U timeline, man. That's the Wii U timeline. But before we kind of continue this conversation, because I know some people want to talk a little bit more about this, can you guys hit that like button? We're near 400.
Yeah, we have like almost 400 and 107 likes. Come on,
if we don't hit 300 likes right now, we're ending the stream.
Please, if we can get 300 likes, that would be really beneficial because then it would show up more on the page for.
Shout out to Phil Spencer in the chat though.
We got Phil Spencer and we got Randy Pitchford in the chat. So.
Yeah, Randy Pitchford in the chat.
We're getting to this level. When you start seeing the impersonation accounts, the weird and funny, that's when you're kind of getting to the next level a little bit. So
yeah,
I like it. Thank you guys for being here, Randy and Phil Spencer. I appreciate you guys. So does anybody have anything else that they wanted to say on Paper Mario? I mean, I think Paper Mario for me, like I said, I like the 1,000-Year Door. I like the original Paper Mario. I'm not a big fan of the new. I'll be honest. I don't like any of the Paper Marios after that. Like I don't like Super Paper Mario. I don't like Sticker Star. I don't like any of them. I don't like Color Splash. I don't like any of those games at all. So for me. This one looks better because I do like what they're doing with some of the combat and options and everything like that. Looks pretty cool. But to kind of go a little bit more on the release, like Avedon was saying, I agree with you, Avedon. What does it matter? Like, what does it matter? I mean, why do people need announcements I get announcements for like hype and everything like that, but let's just can we be like logical here?
It's a Nintendo game.
There was already tons of announcements at that mini direct for it being a mini direct. What's wrong with having announcements later too? Because now what's wrong with having a little bit later as well? Like, and that's the problem that I have. Like, people think that Nintendo, which they've never done, they're not going to announce everything at the beginning of the year. People are saying, well, I want to know what I'm going to play for the rest of the year. That's never going to happen. Nintendo's never going to tell. The only time that they did that, from what I can remember, was 2017 because they were trying to sell the Switch itself and say, hey, we've got games, but they're never going to announce everything that you're going to be able to play at the beginning of the year. It's just not going to happen, and especially with COVID. Now with COVID, you're definitely not going to get that. So I don't understand this logic. I get wanting to know like announcements and stuff like that, but it's not going to be the same type of thing. I think people can't separate it from, they can't put 2 and 2 together. Some people, content creators included, can't put 2 and 2 together. They're just worried about themselves and not actually thinking like logistics of everything.
So I was number one trending for a couple of hours today.
It still is. I someone said it in the chat. That's why I want to mention. What do you guys think sales wise for the first month?
I actually want to talk about that a little bit because for me, this is going to be my first ever Paper Mario game. Never played it on the 64. Wow. Never played one on GameCube. I've never played I never even played a Paper Mario game before. So this is going to be my first impression of one altogether. Sales wise though, does anyone know the other sales of the Paper Mario games?
They're modest. I think
they're modest. Yeah, they're not anything. They're not anything crazy.
I will say this. I don't know sales numbers, but I feel confident enough to say this will be the best Paper Mario sales wise out of the whole series because of the ecosystem of the Switch and how a lot of people. I've noticed that a lot of people are really open to trying out like Nintendo IPs on the Switch. If someone has a Switch, they're really open to trying out a game that they never tried before. Hence, Animal Crossing.
Super Paper Mario is the best-selling one with about
it's the best-selling one.
Yeah, that's what.
How many?
4.2 million for Super Paper Mario.
That's not bad at all. So it's like I feel as though if that's the case, I'll give this game lifetime sales about 5 million.
Yeah, lifetime 5 million? Second best. I was thinking it's not a big hitter, but it's gonna hit 5 million first month or quarter. It's gonna hit 5 million because, like you just said, people are picking up the games in the ecosystem. people were looking for more games this year, and this was a big surprise with only 64 days till release, and it's still trending. I think that's a good sign, especially with the last good game doing that many sales, for over 2 million.
I'll say this: it's like pandemic buying. It's the reason why we were talking about this. It's the reason why Bezos dude is a trillionaire right now. People are just buying things, whether it's consumer electronics, whether it's games, whether it's anything. You're going to see an uptick in sales across the board, and that's what you're seeing with the Switch. I mean, you got all those kids in the house, man. Like, they need games, and people are gonna get them that. They're gonna spend their stimulus on it. They're gonna listen. You know, they need. People are buying extra Switches. They're buying Switch Lights. You know, and this game is going to sell a very good amount. It's going to be. I think it's going to blow.
I think
it's
5 million for the first 2 months, if not the first month. Even
I think maybe it might even be a bit more based on how well it's rated. It might be.
It might be
a 6 or 7. It might be a 6 or 7 million. You know.
I will say this. I will say this though. I do like the fact that the Switch, or especially Mario Kart, has the steer assist, because that's the new way of playing with younger kids without pulling out the controller from the console.
Steer assist.
So it's like, that's my way of teaching my kids how to play Mario Kart.
Everybody keeps on spamming me with this, but I appreciate it, guys. I did see that, but I'm looking at I'm trying to have the podcast, so I can't always mention things. But Random Soul did donate $1.99. It says Nin sent an email. The text says it releases June 19th. Yeah, it was a typo. Now let me tell you guys something.
Whether that is on Sunday,
whether that meant that it was actually going to come out that time or not is just. We don't know. It could have just been a typo, but I got a similar typo from Nintendo as well with my session of Xenoblade, my virtual demo. They were like, "Hey, it's April," and I'm like, "You mean May?" They're like, "Yeah, May." so I mean, it could just be a COVID typo. To be honest, like I don't know if that means if it is or not, but like. Who knows? I'm not gonna say
it might have originally been slated for April, but then COVID.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like my demo, like we already knew that it was coming out May. Like, you know, Xenoblade was coming out May, but my rep was like, oh well, you know, like you want the virtual demo, you want to come play like April. Like I was like, oh, don't you mean May? Well, she's like, oh, typo. She said COVID typo. So I don't know if that was just somebody just making a mistake. You know, like people make mistakes. The PR person or person that put out they might have just made a mistake, you know.
I was gonna say, watch your local news. Since production studio rooms only have 1 or 2 people in it now, the effects are amazing. You see some of the jankiest video, but anyway, it's just the way things are right now.
Yeah, but thank you for the
$1.99. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anybody have any other thoughts on Paper Mario before we move on to Ghost?
I hope it's good.
My thing is, I hope it's good too. And I'm like, I don't think Nintendo needed to do this. Like, for the people that think that it was, it was an intentional marketing thing. It might be a smart play, but my whole thing is you kind of don't. These things, your consoles are sold out. Almost everything about your system is trending #1 because everybody's at home and everybody wants to play the system. You didn't need to steal this. Not only that, this is a completely different game, and there was no internet support behind it like it was for Animal Crossing Cross Doom. So I mean, there was no Paper Mario Cross Ghost of Tsushima because nobody knew your game was coming. So I don't know why they did this, but they didn't. No, maybe they just wanted to, but they didn't need to.
That's why I wanted to say, when you want to add insult to injury, do you have to do it?
Nah, you don't. You don't. Maybe they're just loving it. I mean, these are younger guys. These are younger, newer guys at Nintendo Japan.
That's what I'm thinking. We want to add insult to injury and just be straight up disrespectful and sometimes petty. You don't have to do it, but it's a lot of fun to do it sometimes.
Yeah,
that's what I see when Nintendo did it. I felt like Nintendo was just taking a shot because, again, it's COVID. It's like this whole COVID-19 and everything. It's like the whole. I guess what I'm looking at it as is they're looking for some ways to keep themselves entertained. Since probably a lot of people are working from home remotely. It's still entertainment at the end of the day, and it gets people talking. And mentioning it on the same day as a really big IP for Sony,
and possibly the last game too for the PS4 as well.
Exactly. So it's like now it's almost like now no matter what, Paper Mario and the Origami, forgot the name already. Paper Mario Origami.
The Origami King.
The Origami, okay, Paper Mario the Origami King. Now, up until it's released, is going to be mentioned alongside Ghost of Tsushima, and that's why it's effective marketing. Because now, whenever you think of Ghost of Tsushima, you're still going to think about Paper Mario now. If you are someone who owns a Switch and the PS4,
and vice versa, I guess. Because it kind of works for Sony too, I guess, in a way.
Exactly.
They're gonna make memes now of both of them crossing paths with each other too. Now,
exactly,
just like how they did with Doom and Animal
Crossing. So I said Paper
Tsushima
in the chat.
Well, the thing about it, that would be like the third straight game, though. So that's why people are thinking it's like, well, not the third straight game with Sony, but like the third, like with a big release. So I mean, is it coincidence? I think it's more just coincidence.
First
one? Well, Animal Crossing and Doom, Xenoblade, and it was supposed to be The Last of Us Part 2 before the delay. Right. Yeah, that was supposed to be all May 29th, but then it got delayed. And now this one here, so it's just people are like, wait a minute, three times in a row?
It's
Nintendo calling Sony like, hey, what's your release date, man? You got to work this out.
They got someone on the inside of Sony just hearing everything, and they have a red Nintendo phone like, I got the details. I got the deets.
Change that date and that date.
Yeah, so.
And push this a month earlier. We just finished it 2 weeks ago.
So if this is an RPG, do we think this ends up being the best-selling Paper Mario game?
Even if it's not an RPG,
I think it will.
I think it.
It will still.
I think it still will be.
Yeah.
Just because of how, like, literally every franchise that's been on other consoles that's on the Switch now, the Switch is the best-selling version. You can see that with Mario Kart. You can see that with Smash Brothers. You can see that with Animal Crossing. You can see that with Fire Emblem.
The only exception to that is what? Bayonetta now, right? That's the only thing that's the exception.
And Bayonetta didn't technically come out. Bayonetta, that's...
We're waiting for 3. That's
they wouldn't give you the cartridge. That's probably why.
That's why I feel like Bayonetta 3 probably the best-selling one.
Bayonetta 3 is going to absolutely crush the previous Bayonetta game.
It should.
And I feel Metroid Prime... We know Metroid Prime 4 is going to do it, so...
Yeah, Metroid Prime...
Touchdown.
Travis Strikes Again is going to be Travis Strikes Again. It's going to be fairly easy for that game to beat the previous game sales. But yeah, all the games that come out are going to be the best selling on the Switch. It just makes sense, because for years, what have we done as Nintendo fans? What have we went through? That's one of the most annoying things as a Nintendo fan. Can you guys guess what I'm about to say?
Very easy. Go ahead. You got it.
Remember when you would buy a 3DS or you'd buy a Game Boy or you'd buy a DS? And then you're like, man, there's a game that might, like, especially 3DS. It comes out on 3DS, and you're like, man, that's pretty cool, but I can only play it on the 3DS. Oh, man, that's pretty cool, but I can only play it on the Wii U. I can't play this game or I can only play it on the system. We've been for years, for decades, we've all been buying sometimes separate versions of games just to be able to play portably, right?
Yep.
Or buying multiple copies.
4, Smash 3DS. That's a good example.
Exactly, it's a fantastic example. Smash 3DS. We've got to buy the game twice just to be able to get a true portable experience that's farther away. Wii U, you could play it portably, but you got to be distanced within. And we'd never had Smash portably before, so that was very appealing to many people to be able to play Smash anywhere that you want. That never happened. But now that all of a sudden it's like getting both of them. And as somebody, I spent money on getting 2 versions of games before, whether it was indie games sometimes, just so I can have it on my Wii U and have it on my 3DS. Virtual console games, it was like that too. It didn't cross over. If you wanted Super Metroid on the Wii U, you gotta buy it there. You want Super Metroid on the 3DS, you gotta buy it there. So
that brings up 10th generation talk for me, because I think that Nintendo's going to have to spend money for 10th generation, because they can't have a system now that you can't take outside the house. They can't have. I don't think you release a major home console and it's fixed to a TV, or there's no way to take like a Switch or some type of companion device and play that game in a mobile fashion. I don't think that happens anymore now.
Yeah,
I think there's no turning back.
All right, well, we'll kind of see how everything works out with this. So let's talk about Ghost, man. Ghost of Tsushima, big meaty 18-minute gameplay of the game, and I'll be honest, I'm definitely more excited for the game after seeing it. The regular combat, they didn't. It looks cool, but they kind of made it like they didn't show like a little bit more of a battle with some more resistance. They just showed him mollywhopping people and just
the narrator was dry. But
yeah,
just looking at the game made it good for me. So
they were literally, they had a paper in front. They were like, and they were like,
for each thing.
they had a paper that was literally like 5 inches from their face, reading from like a page. So yeah, they're definitely monotone and boring. But the gameplay and how they narrated, how they went through the flow, that is a Sony Direct. That is a Sony like Animal Crossing Direct. That is a Ghost of Tsushima Direct. And that's how they did a great job.
I think they should do that more often. Just individual game per state of play for 20 minutes. If they do that every time, they can make their own lane for what their broadcast is. It won't be referenced as like a direct anymore. It'll be its own thing if they do that. Because that was a phenomenal state of play, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's really good.
I think the game looks good. I think it's going to be a solid game. It's not original in any means. I don't know if there was anything original about that game, but
no,
it still looks like they took a lot of the best parts of Assassin's Creed, Zelda, other people were talking about some other type of games.
Tenchu.
Yeah, Tenchu. Or
the samurai combat, since it was a little more static and slow for the samurai combat, reminded me of Onimusha from back in the day.
Yeah, maybe even like
that too. Yeah,
Onimusha. Something.
But that's
like
by
that.
design.
You brought it back saying Onimusha though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's on the Switch for people.
That was a great game.
Have it.
Yeah.
It is. It's a phenomenal game.
The stealth stuff
Very
looked better than the regular combat, in my opinion. I think the stealth stuff looked really good. Looks like they did a pretty good job with the stealth stuff.
It caused more havoc.
Yeah, the regular combat, since it is a bit slower, it's hard to gauge how fun it's going to be because they didn't show a more challenging enemy. Like they showed a snippet of because all the enemies weren't blocking; they were all just getting slashed.
They didn't show any bosses.
And scared, So.
Yeah. It seemed like that was an early game part for that portion of it.
I think regular enemies are going to go down pretty easily. They're not wanting you. You're not going to Devil May Cry people, like lift them up into the air and just 625 hit combos. Like you slash somebody's arm off, their arm is gone.
It looks like you're going to be graded though. So like if you choose to be in samurai mode, you can't do any foul stuff. So everything has to be honorable. I noticed at one point, after he killed one dude, he stood over him and saluted him, where he took a bow, what have you. So like I think that there's going to be a grading system in there. Like if you wanna max your stats or what have you, or not be punished by getting negative stats, you still have to fight even in the slow samurai phase a certain type of way. There's an expected flow. It looks like.
What would be cool is if they actually change the maybe potential endings or what happens based on your honor. Or based
I think that'd be a great idea.
There might be. This is Sucker Punch, so I know they said that there's only going to be one story and it won't be a good and a bad. But you can already tell they're doing that because you have to do both the ghost and the samurai mode. So
yep.
You're kind of, do you want to max out both trees, and you got to do more stuff to max out both trees. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, I can't wait. It looked great. What I liked the most is before the game even showcased today, everyone was like fawning and going crazy about how there's the flowers, the scenery, and all these scenic areas of the game. And I like how they mentioned how the flowers are so important because they're usable for your equipment, they're usable for your sword, to customize your design and create new weapons and items for your adventures. And I think that's a great tie-in to the scenery to make you want to go around, want to find the certain items you need to collect for the materials, whether it's your helmet, your gear, any kind of thing you need. That's why the flowers, I think that's a really cool thing about it. I know it sounds weird to talk about the flowers of a video game, but it plays a big part in the game. You're gonna have to. That's why in all the trailers they've showcased all these scenic areas with tons of flowers. Even if you check that 19-minute gameplay, you see all different kinds of flowers in all different locations. So
yeah, the flowers,
I feel like they used it for beauty and for gameplay.
The flowers are kind of shiny. They kind of like shine when you can pick them up. So it kind of has like that, Breath of the Wild type of feel, like when you're out.
Yeah, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, you can grab it. And like, I guess the flowers, they also help with like the color of the gear, your dyes.
The color of the gear as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm glad.
I think they've fully taken on the whole Breath of the Wild aesthetic because I kind of noticed that the color scheme overall has gotten a lot brighter, especially for the foliage. If you look at the beginning of the trailer with him riding around on the horse or whatnot, like the foliage is way more brighter than it was in the original reveal. And that original reveal, they're trying to make it look dark, like it's a revenge tale type situation. And now that they're showing you, hey, look, this is an open vista type situation. It looks a bit more kind of like cell shaded until you get all the way up on details. So I'm kind of liking that feel because it looks like, hey, I can be half realistic over here and half Breath of the Wild over here. So I like the look on it. I like the foliage blowing around and whatnot, and it's actually useful in the game. So it's basically your targeting sphere now. Where are you going to go for your markers or whatever your next objective? The wind blows to your next objective.
That was pretty cool.
Arthur had an interesting comment in the chat. He says, "I'm kind of surprised that Breath of the Wild isn't that old and it's already starting to influence games." Yeah, I mean, I think
They go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Avner. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, it was said when Breath of the Wild first came out that developers were taking notes from Breath of the Wild's design. Like they mentioned that, and I would say the game that came out after Breath of the Wild that we kind of like first started seeing elements was, I would dare say, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like you saw some Breath of the Wild elements in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking notes from Breath of the Wild for a while, and I would say, because I'm gonna give this game its flowers, because I feel like people put this game to shame and make it dead all the time, but I feel Breath of the Wild took a lot from Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh, it had the same designers. So
I also think that Breath of the Wild took some from Assassin's Creed too, though. You know,
the towers
going up on the top.
Yeah.
That was not a thing in games before. I'm pretty sure somebody did it, but Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft games in general,
they were known for doing that.
Made that a thing a lot.
The only other games I've seen do that was it was Crackdown and the other Sucker Punch game, which was Infamous, because there were parts. But I want to say after you're betrayed, spoilers. After you're betrayed in Infamous, half of the entire map is locked, and the only way for you to get it is to go to a certain area or whatever and unlock it. So I've only seen that in a couple of games since Assassin's Creed, so it's just interesting.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed, that game first came out with the whole tower thing. That was 2007.
Yep.
With that. So definitely, many developers copy Assassin's Creed. People copied it the hell out of Assassin's Creed after it came out.
Assassin's Creed 3 is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arkham kind of does it, but that was, Arkham was after Assassin's Creed as well. Assassin's Creed was the game because like I said, that was the game that people were saying, this is next. That was one of this is next gen, The game wasn't...
But even after Assassin's Creed, it went through many games doing it exactly like they were. So until, I guess Breath of the Wild and maybe Infamous.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to see that.
So I think, Nintendo took a little bit from them, Xenoblade, whatever the case is, and Assassin's Creed, and I think Assassin's Creed said, hey, look, we can learn a few things here or there. And Ghost seems like it's like we can learn a few things from lots of people, which is good. I mean, I think that's good. You look at work that's been done, that's well, you want to emulate it. So I don't know, VC, are you good, man?
VC,
I don't know if he's good.
He might still be reloading, but I definitely I think I was probably the only person here, I guess, on the podcast. I was blindly going to buy Ghost of Tsushima because I was a fan of all the Sucker Punch games.
Yeah,
I love their combat flow.
Sucker Punch is my favorite. They're my favorite developer. The only thing that I had an issue with the game at all is just that I don't know how there's the regular combat. They didn't show tougher enemies. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Dope.
Okay, hey, welcome back, VC.
I don't know what happened. Literally, I'm just here talking to you guys, watching you guys, and my PC just decided, oh, hey, goodbye, Discord.
Yeah, well, wow. It happens.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. I don't know. Yeah. So continue. Sorry. But
yeah. Mocats is saying y'all going to act like Wind Waker never existed, huh? Wind Waker
Wind Waker's the best Zelda game. What are you talking about?
No, we know Wind Waker's, but did Wind Waker have it to where you unlock
No, that's what I would like a remake of.
towers and you unlock parts of the map by going up to the top of a tower? Did Wind Waker do that?
I would like a new Wind Waker game.
Not to my knowledge. You climbed to the top of the Dragon Roost, but you didn't unlock anything.
Yeah.
The only thing you had to unlock is when you had to travel, do the Triforce hunt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it wasn't implemented like.
Tower of the Gods, they said.
It wasn't implemented like Breath of the Wild and like Assassin's Creed have it though.
Yeah.
From what it's not the same type of thing. I mean, I played the hell out of Wind Waker. I like it, but I didn't get that vibe from it. You know?
He said for Wind Waker, telling you where to go. Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, we talked about that. Wait a minute. Hold up. That's not what we were
Animation
discussing,
told you
though.
where to go in Wind Waker.
But I think you just make another point. I don't think he was trying to combat. I think he was just making an add-on point.
We hadn't brought up that point though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
we hadn't even started talking about the whole wind. I think Shadow Fox
mentioned it once,
but like the timing of his comment was weird. We were literally talking about the tower stuff. Then he's like, "Y'all gonna act like you haven't played Wind Waker." So I didn't know he was kind of.
Yeah, I get it. His wording is
The timing was a little off, but yeah, I mean I mentioned Wind Waker during the stream. You know,
you did.
So I mean, I knew that Wind Waker kind of like the direction of the wind. But I mean it's. Wind can be played around with in lots. Nobody has a copyright on wind,
Yeah, I actually like how Ghost of Tsushima uses the wind, because one of the big things before this gameplay showcase was everyone's like, "Oh, there's not gonna be a map. I'm gonna need a map to know where to go. Just follow the wind." Like,
I like that.
It makes the experience better.
Yeah, I like that because you don't have to be open up the map all the time.
Yep, exactly.
Just
and
follow the
then,
wind.
if you need to go anywhere, the wind will bring you to where you need to go, no matter what.
To be fair, you want to explore the world anyway. Like usually, you only want to use the map when you're looking for late game stuff. Usually, I wasn't playing Breath of the Wild like that. I was running into stuff like crazy, and then when I wanted to go hunt for stuff, I would use the map then. But
yeah, for me, I would only use the map like if I needed to go to a location, or if I put a point down on the map, it's like, all right, where am I? Am I near where I need to be? And I check the map. Like, that's it. But with this game, it's a little different because of
Wind Waker had
element, and I actually like how they have that in.
Is there a thing? Are there map people? Is anybody, or you're a map guy where you need to see the map so you can jump from place to place?
It depends on the game. Like, it depends on how, like, for example, games like Xenoblade, sometimes it can be, you have to pull up the map over and over and over and over.
All the time.
A lot of fast traveling.
Yeah, a lot of fast travel. You got to pull up the map all the time. There's different areas. So it can get kind of annoying. And, like, if you played, like, Xeno 2 at the beginning, oh my gosh, dude, like, the map system was not the best. They fixed it, ended up fixing it and making it better. But it was just kind of annoying. So, like, if you have, like, birds telling you, like, okay, you need to, like, there was, like, that whole thing where they have, like, birds kind of flying around certain areas and, stuff like that, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for it. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be solid. Any sales predictions for this one here, guys? What do you guys think?
For Ghost of Tsushima? It's hard to tell. PlayStation 4 is officially now the second best selling console during its time period, I guess. So,
second best of all time, right? Next, no, it's not second best of all time.
Oh wait, hold up! I saw something in the chat from let's make sure that we get the right information here. There are waypoints in the game. They're called shrines, and you can fast travel to those waypoints. So they do have them. You don't have to go everywhere on foot or on horseback. There are waypoints to go to, shrines, and then once you do that, it's like, hey, you've got that place unlocked. You can fast travel there. So they do have that. So I just want to make sure everybody knows exactly what's going on here. But what's the consensus on sales? So there was an interesting. I know Shadow Fox loves this guy, Colin Moriarty. And I know VC, you saw this. I think you saw this too, right, on Twitter. So I want to make sure that I pull this up because this is gonna be interesting to talk about the sales of where we see this happening. We're all obviously getting the game. We're all excited for it. Let me just make sure that I pull this up.
His tweet was awesome though.
Yeah, it was.
So he basically talked about like Animal Crossing. I don't have the.
I don't think he was happy talking about it, but it was.
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't think he was. I don't think it made him happy. Let me see so I can find.
Colin was wrong.
Let me see if I can find this tweet, just so I can let you guys know kind of like what's going down here. I don't know, VC. Do you still have it? I know you put it in the chat. or like I can't find it. Oh, I found it. Okay, so here we go. So so here's what he had to say here. So like the PlayStation 4's best-selling exclusives are Uncharted 4, Thief's End, Spider-Man, God of War, The Last of Us Remastered, Horizon Zero Dawn, Gran Turismo Sport. Animal Crossing outsold all of them. With the exception of Uncharted 4, which of course it's gonna pass up Uncharted 4 because it's selling like crazy.
Outsold all of them. Like, and basically the definition of a big hitter. I don't know what it is.
That's definitely a big hitter, VC, for sure. But it's not necessarily to say,
I have jokes for days.
Nintendo has this and they have. That's not the point. The point is we know where the sales are for like Uncharted and Spider-Man and all that. So we're trying to figure out where it would fit in this timeline of games because this is a brand new IP.
That's right. Sucker Punch did Spider-Man, didn't they?
No. That was Insomniac.
Or was it Naughty? Insomniac did.
Yeah,
Okay,
Insomniac
I got them confused.
Sony now owns them. Sony now owns Insomniac, but I think before they didn't.
Which is crazy because Sucker Punch should have did Spider-Man. That's their game. Yeah. That's their type
well,
game
it's logistics. They couldn't because at the time that they were probably starting to plan because Spider-Man had been shown off 2 or 3 years in advance. Like they had been showing the same game like over and over and over at E3. And Sucker Punch finished. They were doing Infamous Second Son, so of course they're going to work on Infamous. And then right after that, they already had their next project set. They were going to do a new IP. There was no moving away from that, according to Sucker Punch.
So they had to find...
Yeah, so they had to get somebody else to do it, and that somebody else was Insomniac, which ended up being a good thing for Insomniac because they did such a good job and made Sony so much money. Sony purchased them, and everybody that worked at the company became instant millionaires for the most part. So good for the people that worked there. So I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking like, okay, well, Last of Us Remastered has a total of about 20 million between both systems. Horizon Zero Dawn, 10 million plus. God of War, 10 million plus. Spider-Man, I think, is like at 13, 14 million. Uncharted is at 16 million. Gran Turismo Sport, I don't know where Gran Turismo Sport is. I'm not exactly sure where that game is, but I think that's the lowest out of all these. So where are we seeing Ghost of Tsushima? Is it going to be 10 million plus? What do you guys think? Like, is it going to be up there with Last of Us?
Lifetime sales don't sell that well. Lifetime sales, possibly. It all depends. Okay. Premise-wise, it looks great, but it all depends on how well the game is supported and the longevity and the replay value of the game. Like, literally, the replay value of the game needs to be there. I would say, like, Nintendo's games that are, like, 10 million plus, they all have high replay value. If there's not enough replay value there to make someone want to play the game over and over again, it's not going to sell that much. That's the truth.
Okay. What do you think, DC?
I'll be able to say my stance in just a moment.
Okay, no problem. I guess I can go then. I think that 10 million, it might get there, but there's just something about this game that doesn't scream mass market to me. I don't know what it is, but there's just something that doesn't scream mass market, so it might fall a little bit under, like maybe what Horizon did. Horizon doesn't scream mass market either, but Horizon launched at a little bit. It wasn't on the way out. The system was still hot in the huge amount of systems being sold, whereas it's on the way out. People are saving for PS5. People are getting ready. I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 comes out right before this one, a month before this one, So to me, it makes it seem like there's going to be some sales jacked somehow. The system's on its way out. There might not be as much momentum with the system in terms of sales. So I'm going to go. It might reach 10 million, but I think lifetime maybe 10 million, but it might be under that. It might be under 10 million just because I don't know. It's a samurai game. There's a reason why we don't see a lot of samurai games and like slower paced samurai games because those games don't necessarily do the best.
Are y'all ready for the prophet to make the prophecy once again?
All right.
Are y'all ready? All right. So I said just before that Paper Mario is going to get about 5 million, maybe 6 million for the first month, right? I think with Ghost of Tsushima, at most, shipped and sold 3 million first month. Okay. Shipped and sold, not bought.
That's fair.
The reason why I make that prediction is because if you check the little thing I just posted in the Discord chat, it's a little trends Google thing. And if you see how much things trended in comparison of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is based off of one of the greatest games of all time, compared to Animal Crossing New Horizons, it's incomparable. More people were talking about Animal Crossing New Horizons, and in a few days, the trend will come out for Origami King, and we can compare it to Ghost of Tsushima, and we'll find out what's being more talked about, what's being more praised, and we'll know what could possibly sell more. Because controversy and talking, that always brings up sales at the end of the day. And honestly, 3 million shipped and sold first month, and for the whole year, I'd say 7 million for a whole year.
So maybe lifetime around 7 to 10 million.
Yeah, for PS4, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 7 to 8.
7 to 8 million lifetime. Yeah, I'm kind of in that same bracket too. Just because
and for that first month, only 3 million shipped and sold.
It depends though.
Prediction.
It depends. I mean, like with these whole backwards compatible, I mean, like The Last of Us Remastered, that got a huge boost in sales, because PS4.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's always tough to guess lifetime because it's like, okay, well, if this gets brought over, if they enhance it and say, here, you can get this game for $5, like, or if you get a PS5 and you get Ghost of Tsushima, they're gonna add that to the sales. That's what they did for Last of Us. They literally, the game's being sold for nothing, or they're including it with system sales.
The PS4,
the PS4, and it got a huge boost because of that. It didn't natively sell 20 million. Like, it's not a real 20 million seller. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is, or like Animal Crossing is probably going to be. It's not a real. It's a kind of like a faux 20 million seller with Last of Us. So I mean, Ghost of Tsushima might get boosted because of that. A lot of these games might, and Sony just might. I mean, look what they're doing. They're adding them to the sales. Like, what's that triple pack bundle? You can get Horizon, God of War, and what else? And Days Gone. And they're, by the way, they're counting all those games towards the sales of those. Like, towards the sales. They're counting all that. So it's kind of like Fluffer McGee, like a little bit of Fluff McGee in there. So that might happen, with these games.
Don't get me wrong. Personally, I am way more hyped for Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I am a Paper Mario fan, but like Ghost of Tsushima, I'm hyped for. I just don't think it's going to sell more than Paper Mario. I just don't. Especially with the spontaneous announcement, literally 64 days to wait, while people have been waiting for Ghost of Tsushima for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. Imagine if this game was announced this year and releasing it, and then imagine if they announced it this year, we had this state of play, and then it was coming out then. Imagine, I think it would have blown away. Maybe it might have blown away Paper Mario in terms of hype. It might.
Oh, it definitely would. It probably would have, honestly.
But
I can see that.
We've seen the game a million times. That's the thing. Well, we've seen it. We've known about it since 2017. So it's been 3 years now.
Exactly.
So I mean,
I'm hyped for it though. I am hyped. I hope it sells really well. Personally, I would hope for it to sell more than 3 million shipped and sold, of course. But if that's what happened with Final Fantasy VII Remake, based off one of the best games and greatest known games of all time,
that game that's not fair. That game already had a dislike of people upset that it's gonna be broken up. So you really can't include that. To be fair. You gotta consider that.
But
a lot of people are.
I see what VC is saying though. It's still graphics. It's still FF7.
It's not the same though. You cannot include that. When people already had a bias towards it before the beginning because it's not their Final Fantasy VII the way they imagined it.
Okay.
That's not.
So you're saying that the sales were affected because of that. You're saying that sales were affected a lot because of that.
Sales were affected. They were torn in the middle. This was definitely drawn down the middle. If you look down, there was a lot of people torn, saying, "Well, I'm not getting it." There were a lot of people saying, "I'm not getting this game until the full game comes out." There were a lot of people saying that
about Pokemon too, though.
different demographic. Pokemon,
I know. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people say that about Pokemon, though, too.
I would dare say there was a fan base of Final Fantasy VII. There's more of a I hate to do this, but there's a more mature fan base. Where meanwhile, Pokemon kids are gonna buy that game. They're gonna buy that game all the time.
But compared to Animal Crossing: New Horizons, where
adults have more money than kids
are playing that game.
Adults have more money than kids, but at the same time, adults are buying this to play with their kids, and they're buying more than one so they could play on different consoles. That's why they have Switch Minis and other stuff. So that's why they'll have like 1, 2, maybe 3 Animal Crossings for one household. Because you're right about that, Shadow Fox. And to what you're saying, VC, I know you're beefing up Animal Crossing, New Horizon, which is cool and everything, but at the same time, as we discussed previously, this is the new. We're going to call this the Switch's Wii Fit. This game is going to sell out like. I would dare, if you want a more recent comparison, I would say this game's going to sell like Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Switch.
I could see
Animal Crossing New Horizon. It's going to continuously sell out. It's going to keep selling out like Grand Theft Auto 5 is still making sales.
Yeah, it's still
Animal Crossing was evergreen anyway. Even when it wasn't selling that well, it was selling consistently.
And
it was still,
and it's going to be even more on the
spread out.
Switch. So that's why I said that. But to compare Animal Crossing, which is more targeted for pretty much everybody. I have people who listen. I went on Facebook. I have people who don't even play video games asking people, "Hey, do you have Animal Crossing New Horizon?" That's how that game is. That's why I put it on Wii Fit status. That's
Everyone
why
has the game. Everyone.
That's why I don't compare it to Final
There's
Fantasy
even people
7,
who like I know have Switches, and I'm like, you have Animal Crossing? You've never played a single one before. Like, it's shocking. It's like
social media will make people do anything.
Yeah, well, that's what only
TikTok
for too. Yeah,
Yeah,
TikTok,
I mean,
all that.
TikTok is amazing
for
for marketing.
For marketing, it's fantastic. But it's also a degenerate app.
Yes, it is.
But
it is.
But no, I mean, I don't want to turn this into a TikTok thing. But no, I mean, I see what you're saying. I guess we can talk a little bit, just a little bit about that with what you were saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what VC's saying. I also see what Avedon is saying. But I guess it's tough to kind of know exactly what's going on here. You know, I think there's a little bit of I think there's a little bit of both, right?
It is. I will admit that.
I think you guys are both essentially. I think you guys are both right. There are people who legit like dead ass did not buy the game because this whole splitting up and they were salty. There are people. And that is based off of, you know, certain things. But then at the same time, VC's point, you know, people don't always pay attention to that crap. You know?
I peeped that Shadow Fox.
And the best part, though, is like, I was one of those people originally when I first found out about the split. I was like, oh, this is horrible. They shouldn't be doing this. And I still feel that way in the back of my mind, even still after beating the game. But for what it is, it's a full game. People just have to play it.
Yeah.
That's what it is, Avedon. You understand too. Like,
I'm not gonna say much about that. You're right.
7, you just have to just play it.
It's a full game, but the structure can be disappointing for some. That's essentially what it comes down to. The structure can be disappointing for some, but it's a full game. You get your money's worth. You get your money's worth, but the structure can be disappointing. Almost like Final Fantasy 13. You get your money's worth. Obviously, you get your money's worth with Final Fantasy 13. It hasn't, but the structure is disappointing for some. It's the same exact thing. Like, you gotta wait till, if you're on the Xbox, you gotta wait till disc 3 to get to the open world. People don't want to wait till disc 3 to get to the open world. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't like to wait till, I don't want to wait till disc 3 to get to the open world. In Chrono Trigger, I can walk around in an open area from the very beginning, you know? So that people don't want to be restricted in RPGs like that. They want to be able to, you grab your crew and then you go out. You know what I'm saying? And like, you're free. And Final Fantasy is different. It doesn't do that. The next game, potentially, probably, but this one not so much. So the structure did kind of make people upset. But yeah, so I mean, but like I said, I see what both of you guys are saying. Shout outs to the subscription. I can't say that name. Adi Daya, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the village, my boy. All right, so also we need another super chat here. Troy Perry, I forgot to get this one. He donated $2.99 Aussie, and he says, "Got Splatoon level 1, baby. VC good to see shades back." Okay, good to see shades back.
I'm wearing shades, yeah.
Yeah.
A few people were like, "Oh, Barbara was like joking before, like, oh, why are you wearing shades?" I'm like, how many podcasts have I been on here, like wearing shades? Let
me tell you guys something. It's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's part of the persona that you have to kind of admit. If you're somebody that wants to wear shades, for example, people wear hats indoors. There's no reason to wear a hat indoors, you know?
That's very true.
But yet people will do videos and they have hats, you know, or they'll do whatever. So it's kind of the same thing. It's that, and then also for your eyes too, block it out, you know, blue light.
I need to actually upgrade my prescription to having that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, those are always good.
But you see, I'm gonna add, I'm gonna add it to. Mine's turn sunglasses outside, but I'm also gonna add to what you have for the computers to my glasses too.
Yeah, look, I started wearing these.
Works well.
I started wearing these after I got
7 screens in here. I gotta have some.
I got that Sharingan like that. You know when you use your Sharingan too long, dude. No,
bloody eye.
Like, no, seriously, something bursted in my eye. Like something blew up.
Rupture.
I literally felt it go boom and splat, and I felt liquid draining from the top of my eye. I think it was this one. I'm not sure. Draining, going down, and I was scared to death, man. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go blind. And I literally was closing my eye for the rest of the night until the next morning. And thank God everything was okay. But after that, I was like, all right, I'm done. I got to get some glasses. This is ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, for editors, you got to wear some glasses, you know?
Yeah.
You got to wear some glasses.
So
Speaking it's like mandatory, especially if you're editing for like, let's say for like a video 6 hours straight in front of a computer, editing, like, and that doesn't include like live streaming in front of a computer for like 4, 5, 6 hours. Like that even in itself is crazy. I don't know how you do it, OJ. 4 hours almost every stream.
You know,
I need to know how you do it.
You know, I have the you know, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to say, I don't know how. There's people that do more. I mean, I know Click, dude, should be streaming for like 14 hours, 10 hours. I mean, some of these guys, they stream forever. But that's why a lot of them are taking these deals, you know, so they don't have to stream as long anymore. So yeah. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take some questions from the chat. This has been
I didn't get my prediction in before y'all do the question.
Oh, you didn't get your prediction in? My bad, dude.
Nah.
Go ahead. Have at it. The floor is yours.
Mine's pessimistic because the best-selling game is the best-selling exclusive on PlayStation 4 is A Thief's End. And I think it's close to 17 million.
Yeah, 16, 17 million.
So, and that's with 110 million consoles out there. So, I'm thinking if Sony publishes this game and they push out around 4.5 million at launch, they should be able to sell through 5 million by Christmas, I think. And that's assuming everything goes well. But I'm not thinking it's going to do more than 7 lifetime, to be honest with you. The quote unquote PlayStation 5 is on its way, so I don't think I think they probably should have a version of this for the PlayStation 5. They want to make any money off of this game. That's kind of where I'm at on that one.
You mean like, or maybe like a smart delivery patch?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, they should do that, especially if they know their competition is doing it. So it will be wise, I would think.
Yeah.
Why buy the game twice?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that buying the game twice is going to become a anti-consumer, you know, type of situation, you know, like where it's okay, we've done that before. Obviously, the technology, you guys are using the exact same tech for the most part with just some enhancements. Like, we don't need any of this buying the game twice malarkey, which, you know,
as Nintendo fans, we're used to doing.
We're used to that, but the format's changed so much, you know, like we went from the disc to a system to where we can play anywhere that we want. Now, you know, going forward, obviously, like I don't want, like, when the next Switch comes out, I don't want them to say, oh, here's Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Switch 2. Like, no, I just want straight up backwards compatibility. That's when I'll be like, okay, I've had enough here.
Exactly.
And then they add one more new character.
Yeah,
still
yeah.
$60.
Yeah,
it's like Retro Studios. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's when I'll be like, okay, no. Like, I will 100% not support that at all. Like, I get it because Donkey Kong on the Wii U, now you have it to where you can play it anywhere that you want. You gain a portable version of the game. The format, it was on Blu-ray or weird proprietary disc. Now it's on cartridge. So the format changes, the development cycle, like the architecture, everything's changed from the Wii U to the Switch.
Playing Tropical Freeze on a plane with some random person who coincidentally has a Switch 2, like who is sitting right next to you on the plane, is like the best experience I ever had with the Switch. Deadass. We played Cuphead, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, all these co-op games, and it's like, wow, we can do this. Like, this is possible. With this handheld console hybrid, like, it's incredible. It's just incredible.
So I get that, but you know, like when we get our Switch 2, I don't get buying the game again to do that. You know what I'm saying?
It should just be games at that point.
Unless it's Cuphead, I'll buy it for a fourth time.
Well, it should just be backwards compatible. It should just be like, you should be able to, and I also think even digital, which Nintendo hasn't been doing either, like 100%.
Unfortunately, they should.
It should be like, okay, your library, your digital library just carries over as well. Like, that should
People got their Wii libraries just collecting dust.
Yeah, it's just sitting there. And I think that's the whole virtual console type of thing, like how you build it. With this on Nintendo Online thing, you can transfer this over very easily. You'll be able to transfer it over. The only problem is that they're not doing what people want. But you will be able to transfer over this virtual console stuff or this Nintendo games, whatever, that will transfer over. No ifs, ands, or buts about it because it's tied to your Nintendo
if you
account.
don't mind, I have to throw a little fire into the flame real quick. Mary brother, I am a huge fan of the Pokemon franchise, and yes, I do hate Sword and Shield because the games absolutely effing suck.
All right, well, there you go. We have a VC statement here.
Yeah, I just have to point it out there because you could still enjoy a franchise and not like a game that came from that franchise. Like
true.
it happens to a bunch.
Yep.
Like I love Paper Mario, but Sticker Star and Color Splash are effing trash.
I like Paper Mario too, and I don't like. There's certain ones that you just might not like, which is cool.
Exactly. But you can still
Love
enjoy
fighting
the
games. I do
franchise.
not like Fighting Street, and it was the first of the Street Fighter franchise. But I'm not playing that game.
Yeah, that
Street
game's
Fighter
kinda-
2 and beyond.
That game's kind of trash. Let's answer some questions. So if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer. Who do y'all think will perform better in their month? Ghost, or Last of Us? Last of Us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If not just for curiosity, people are going to buy that.
They do want us to. We'll touch on EVO online. What do y'all think about EVO online? I don't know. I don't really have too much. I'm not a fan of online tournaments, so I
don't know how this is going to work.
Should we talk about Smash Online? I think we have to.
I mean,
like
we
it's
can.
A must
That's
for
fine.
like a
we
few
can.
minutes.
Yeah. Go ahead. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not a big online type of guy. People are trying to say like, oh, well, yeah. Some people are trying to do conspiracy theory. Nintendo made sure that the game got cut because their online is trash for the game. That's not it.
There are plenty of games with trash online, man.
EVO cut games that don't have the most solid. You have to have the most solid track record of netcode or whatever the hell you want to call it in order for your game to be there. That's why Mortal Kombat got brought back in.
Yeah, they're GGPO, right? Are they using
rollback? Yeah, something like that. So that's the reason why, and that's why games like Tekken, Street Fighter, those games all got cut. Tekken, Street Dragon
crazy,
Ball Fighters,
like,
none of that. So
they need to put Killer Instinct in there. It's GGPO.
They threw Killer Instinct back in.
Yep.
They did. Okay, good.
Yeah, they got
good.
Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, Them Herds, which is that My Little Pony fighting game. And Skullgirls. That's it.
Yeah, those are and over like
Skullgirls is the gold standard.
And it's like over like a 4-week. Yeah, Grand Blue also got cut as well. Grand Blue also got cut. So multiple games that don't have the most upright, perfect net codes. Not that you can't get good matches, but if things just aren't completely perfect for people that have potato routers, because that's what happens with some of these things.
How does Them Fighting Herds get in because of that internet without Smash getting in? You know what I mean?
Because of the internet play. It's really just based off of that. If Smash had better internet play, then it would have got in.
Who made this game? I need to look this up. Because
I think it's going to be a problem. I think it's going to be a problem either way, though, because somebody's going to be in that tournament with trash internet.
The thing about it is that these games handle trash internet better.
Way better. 6 are the developer. Main 6. MANE6. I'm pretty sure none of us have ever heard of them.
No, I never even heard of them.
You can't even click on the name on Wikipedia. Like you can click on Humble Bundle, but you can't click on Main 6. So like, there's somebody, and their game is there because the internet's better in their game. Makes no sense. I don't
Ultra
get it.
Street Fighter 2 was pretty good. It was pretty decent with people with a lot of trash internet. It was okay.
I think that with this whole thing, I think the thing about it is like, it's still online. At the end of the day, you can talk about it. It's still at the end of the day online. And I'm just not as interested. I know people are hyped, but it's over 4 weeks. It's a 4-week period of these games being played.
Yeah.
I think that's the defining moment right there. So if you do it over a prolonged period of time, like that solidifies to me. I think that makes the tournament worthwhile. At that point, because it's just like all the tournaments are, like a 30-day tournaments are in individual fighting games. They figure out who's the highest ranked or what have you. At that point, I mean, you're doing the law of averages at that point. So like, how is there going to be a freak accident with your internet every single day? It's not gonna happen. So I'm thinking the law of averages and doing 4 weeks or more. Like I was saying, that should be it. That should be it. There shouldn't be one day these are the grand finals and you're doing it over the internet. Anything could happen. I don't think that works. I think you do a pool, and whoever gets to the top of the pool wins.
Yeah, but I think there's also some. I think VC also just typed something. I'm actually not surprised because Nintendo didn't make the netcode for this game. People
Oh,
don't realize
whoa, yeah, Bandai
Namco literally
made.
made this game, and
That's
all
not
of Bandai Namco's games are out. So
Yep, all of them. Mortal Kombat, Dragon Ball Fighters, all out.
well, they didn't make Mortal Kombat, but
Oh, wait. No, Warner Brothers. Yeah, Warner Brothers.
NetherRealm, Warner Brothers. So all of Bandai, Tekken's out. Obviously, Dragon Ball Fighters is out. So Bandai Namco made the game, which people still say that Nintendo made the game. Nintendo did not make.
Yeah, they didn't.
Smash Brothers. Honestly, and I'm not just trying to say that I'm not trying to shift blame. Nintendo did not make Smash Brothers Online or the netcode. Smash Brothers is a very weird type of game for Nintendo. The game is literally almost 100% contracted. It is not a game that Nintendo develops internally. There are Nintendo people that are like, okay, well, what's going on? Like their liaison. But Nintendo puts so much trust in Sakurai. Sakurai's an independent contractor. He has his own Sora Ltd. Like he's a guy by himself that has that name that's an Ltd. And when he feels like working or whenever they go, he's like, okay, who are you gonna help me work with? Like now, who am I working with? And then they say, okay, you're working with this studio, these people, or you go hire people yourself. You take control. You hire people for as long as you need them, and then when it's done, you let them go. Which is what happened with. What was it? Kid Icarus Uprising. He hired Sakurai, went out and got a bunch of people, say, hey, come work for Sora. We'll make the game. And then when they're done, they were done. They let go. And then he's going back to doing whatever he's doing. So, like I said, not trying to shift blame or anything like that, but the netcode was literally, the whole game was literally made by Bandai Namco.
And that's since the Wii U version. Oh, no, I think it was actually the Wii version as well. Now
the Wii version was... It was some, but I think there was a couple different developers for that one. The Wii version.
I'm pretty sure HAL Laboratory, Sora.
Yes,
and,
there was.
It was all HAL for GameCube and N64.
Yeah, it was. I think there was some of Bandai Namco people. There was the Brawl was a bit different, but Smash for Wii U and 3DS, that was when they just shifted over to Bandai Namco completely. So Bandai Namco made this game. And people keep on saying, Nintendo. Bandai Namco made this game. This is a Bandai Namco made game. That Nintendo trusts them. They give them the money. They say, make the game. Do the best that you can. Make whatever game that you can. That doesn't excuse it. Obviously, it should still try to do the best that they can with online and all that. But I don't know. I think sometimes people trivialize it. They think that it's easy, that people can just do this. I don't even know how all this stuff works. So it's hard for me to speak on it in a way.
People don't even know binary, let alone.
I don't know how netcode works. I don't know why certain developers put in some type of things in terms of input or what the case is. I'm not exactly sure how it is. If everybody could do it perfectly and have perfect online, if it was so easy, then everyone would just do it. It would just be, just use this.
Yeah. But it's different per game because it depends on how you write for the CPU for your input lag internally. So if you decide you're emulating this serial connection over the internet, and that's the hardest part. So the math has to be right locally for the game that you're creating, assuming that there's no wireless connection whatsoever, and then you also have to prioritize how that's going to work, either over LAN play or over the internet, or there's some type of server in the middle as a relay or proxy or what have you. That it's just going to be a problem, and that's going to be game to game because that's inherently in the main code of the online game that you're talking about in question. It's not something, even if you have Xbox Live or you have PlayStation Network or what have you, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo do not make all of these games. So the main code that they're making this game, they have to embed it in there. It's basic controller input, and I don't know of a fix for that. Short of everybody going to go get this middleware, and this middleware has aged. So, and how is it moving along the way in terms of, hey, there's this new IDE here that we use to create games now. Do you have hooks in this IDE for these variables now for this middleware? Like that, all that kind of shit. Like as Game Maker gets updated, is GGPO being updated for all the hooks that are inside the new version of Game Maker? Like those are the problems, and I don't see that being solved, unfortunately. So
J2 Blue says the Wii version is HAL Laboratory, Sora Unlimited, and Game Arts.
Brawl.
are the
Game
three.
Arts.
So
Okay.
he's talking about and Game Arts.
Brawl.
They're interesting because they're the ones who kind of defunct off or whatever, and then made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Smash Up, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So that game's not great.
So we were talking last time, and there's input delay and actual lag locally in
in the game.
the last 3 versions of Smash. Like it's just.
But
there.
people are saying that Smash Ultimate has the highest amount of input delay.
Just code it in there. Like I don't. Whatever. I don't know, man.
But more than Smash Wii U, because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I played Smash Wii U and it felt sluggish. So the fact that there was input delay even with the sluggish gameplay feels a little odd.
I think it's definitely. I don't know if it's subjective. I think that there is a mathematical. Yes, it does have more, but I think it's based on your perception in terms of how you view the games and how fast the games play.
And also the both you have good internet if you're local
we're talking like local.
Too.
Like some
Just
people say,
local,
oh
right?
well, there's more baked in input delay.
Yeah.
You know, in Smash Ultimate, whereas compared to Smash for You, whereas when I play Smash Ultimate offline, I'm like, it doesn't feel any more that there is more than not. Maybe some people, like I said, so I think it's also perception based off of that. But I guess there is an actual like mathematical, like, hey, it is this much baked in regardless. Like it's factual, you know, but your perception of how you feel it is varies from person to person. So offline. Now we're talking
Which I think is weird anyway, because as you play the game, you're going to customize to it in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, it's just, oh my god! And then you have display, you have this display updating as well, and you have input delay, you have your actual delay in your display as far as your refresh and whatnot, and you as a person reacting based on you seeing the result of your input, that also varies. So that's, oh my god. I don't even know how to explain, but it's one of those things where there's no way to balance or make some type of system that accounts for all 3 of those different phases of playing the game. The only thing you could do is just make sure that input timings are all the same across the board. And that means that Nintendo has hooks in the main code of every game that's licensed for the platform. And I don't think anybody, any third party publisher is going to be hip to that. I don't think they're going to want that. I don't think that is a fix, but I don't. Do you think that Rockstar is going to be happy that now, you know, Microsoft and Sony are like, hey, if you're going to have GTA Online, we need input in it main for your main code. We need all your hooks for you to be able to use online mode in this game. Like, I don't think they'll sign up for that. They feel that their code is their intellectual property, and they probably would sue.
I think Party Man put a comment in here in terms of what he researched. He said, let me try to see if he says, from what I researched, it is costly and time consuming to implement rollback versus delay based. Delay based is cheaper and easier to set up, so it can increase the cost of the game. It takes longer, whatever the case is. You know, obviously people are saying, okay, well, Smash Brothers, you know, it sold this amount, but I think it's more of a time based thing. They wanted to have Smash done, or any of these games, like they want to have these games done by this time, you know. So it's like, if we do this, then it's going to take a lot longer to get this game out because they want to have it, you know, by this time. Of course, it'd be great if it could be implemented into everything, but there's obviously something stopping this from being implemented to everything, because otherwise Grand Blue would have it, Tekken would have it, Street Fighter would have it,
every fighting game would
have this. So there's definitely something that's inhibiting this rollback or having, you know, there's something that's stopping it from being normal, because there's nothing, like, I compare it to almost like HD or something like that. There's nothing really stopping developers from having HD. Is you can do it, right? So there should be no excuse for any developer to not have like a game that's on current systems that's not HD, right? But
it's their choice.
It's, you know, it's their choice, but there's something stopping this particular thing from being everywhere. You know, and I think that when I just read comments online, people just say, fix it, fix it, fix it. I don't think there's any type of quick fix for this type of thing. Like, I don't think there is
no quick fix.
Yeah, I don't think there's a quick fix for this. It needed to be addressed, before the game was in development. They needed to be factored in, and that needed to be a thing. Like, they needed to work on this game a year or 2 years earlier in terms of things. And the problem is that you get these games, like, for example, like Street Fighter, and Sony pays for it and says, we want it by this time. And you're like, well, we don't have the time. And Nintendo says, okay, Bandai Namco, Sakurai, we want the game by this time because we have a budget to hit. We're going to pay you millions of dollars. We want it by this time, you know? So, I mean, I think that's the biggest problem, is that sometimes you don't have the time to do everything that you would want to do. And I'm just trying to make sense of it. And that's why you see it in some games, not in other games.
A lot of things were added later on, like the home run contest was added later on. Like, a ton of things was missing out from your initial release. So I totally feel you on that, OJ, just because
the easiest way I could describe this is, imagine if Epic went to everybody and said, right now, you are required to use Unreal Engine 3 in every game for it to work on any platform for this point forward. So that means everybody's using Unreal Engine 4 and any other engine or whatever. They have to kill their project. That's essentially what you're asking. Anybody making a fighting game to do at this point.
It's not about asking anybody for techniques, Warborn. That's not it.
You're forcing an engine on them.
It's not about asking people for techniques. And even if you did, I mean, like, there's a language barrier, there's development times. Like, you're not gonna be like, all right, here's tips on how to do it. Like, it's not like it's not. That's not how it is. There's a budget. There's literally like a budget, and there's a time that development time and budget that people have to stick by. Asking a developer for techniques isn't going to give you an extra year to make this game, to make those adjustments. So even if they did get tips or whatever, that doesn't mean the publisher is going to agree for you to implement everything and all that. You have to go based off of who's paying you, not based off of the tips that you get from somebody. So it's not like here's a tip how to play Smash better, short hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like teaching you how to short hop or teaching you how to do, fair or bear. It's not,
or how to do a tilt attack.
Yeah, or how to do it's not. That's not what it's like. This is money and time and budgets and multi-million dollars on the line. It's not tips.
I would say antitrust as well, because you can't force one engine across an entire industry. That just that would not be well business wise at all.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not it. Which by the way, that's the general consensus. Not general consensus. That is what people really honestly think, that it's it's just they don't want to. It's because they just don't feel like it. I don't think that's it. I think it's more of a money thing. If this was readily available to do or easier to do, everybody would do it. That's the only logical conclusion that I can come from. If it was easy and readily available, then Grand Blue would have it. Because, by the way, the people who make Grand Blue, that's Arc System Works. How long have they been making fighting games?
Fighting games for a very long time.
So, are you telling me that these guys just suck? They've been making online fighting games since 2008. I remember playing Blaze Blue. So, we're going on more than a decade of these guys making online fighting games, making a lot of online fighting games.
Guilty Gear, can't forget that.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, it's not like they don't want to. They just got to work with what they're given in terms of things. So
yeah,
I think going forward, hopefully Nintendo sees like, hey, the next Smash Brothers, if there ever is a next one, that they factor.
They don't need to be another Smash Brothers.
If there ever is,
Yeah, maybe we'll get that Mario Kart 2 then.
Mario Kart 2?
No, 2 as in TOO, not number 2.
Oh,
that was the other thing I was gonna say too. Like, racing games need something similar. As far as their prediction and rollback environment as well, because that's all over the place as well, depending on whatever racing game.
Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is not developed by CyberConnect 2. That is developed by Arc System Works. I don't know why Arthur is putting that in the chat and misinforming people. That is not developed by CyberConnect 2. That is developed by Arc System Works. The fighting game, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, is an Arc System Works developed fighting game. And the publisher is Cygames. Cygames, Xseed Games, and Marvelous publishers. Developers, Arc System Works, and Cygames. So,
I say one of the other things is GGPO is it still hasn't moved to C# yet. So if you're gonna program, if you're programming, you're writing C or C++. You're not using
C++.
Yeah, you're not using C# to write your game or any other type of code. So if you're writing in Swift on an Apple device or anything, it's not happening.
Companies can't. Nobody can learn anything from anybody, guys. All these development. It's not about learning.
It's about money. Well, I'm not even sure about that because them herds, I don't think they have that much money either. So I don't think it's a money thing either.
I think it's a time and money thing.
But them fighting herds, really, time and money.
Them fighting herds has a fraction of the content of some of these other big games.
Oh, a fraction, but
it has literally a fraction.
Better? Really? Like, it's still shocking to me that the next.
How many characters are in them fighting herds?
I think 12.
Yeah, there's 12 characters. They built the game.
Sure, I'll look it up just so we don't.
They built the game around online play. The game is being built around online play. They don't got to worry about anything else. I mean, it's hard to compare that type of thing, you know? Because there's another game, what was it, Pocket, what was that little pocket fighting game that came out for the Switch that has GGPO rollback netcode?
I think
it was kind of like Skullgirls. I was trying to think.
I think there's only 6 characters.
Yeah, there's 6. I mean, if Smash Brothers had maybe 6 characters and didn't have to worry about all sorts of other stuff and was focused on online play, then probably it would have GGPO. But yeah, I mean, it has 6 characters. It's you know,
and they might have to rewrite their game too. So I think Wii U games were C++. So I don't know. Switch, I don't know what Switch is using right now.
Pocket Rumble, there you go. Pocket Rumble's another game that has GGPO netcode.
The game that took 6 extra months to release. For those who remember.
Maybe they're implementing that GGPO.
maybe.
Maybe they're implementing that. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, you have a certain amount of time and money and what you can develop. And if you're gonna focus all your effort or a lot of your effort on online play and netcode, you're gonna take a significant amount of resources in order to do that. That's why Tekken 7. That's why Grand Blue. That's why Street Fighter. That's why all these games just don't have it. You know. And that from what I've seen, Mortal Kombat is a game that has it. But I did read an article about Mortal Kombat about how long in time and money it took them, I guess a year of completely redoing things. So I mean, it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible for them to do it.
Yeah, because it was not designed for Mortal Kombat 11's engine. They had to shoehorn that in there.
Yeah, but Nintendo's they're just not gonna do it. Which would be nice if they did, but it wouldn't be anytime soon. They would have had to plan that last year or something like that. If they start planning it now, but then again, Smash is probably gonna last for a long time. So even if it was planned out right now, but the problem is the DLC. They've got to get that done. The Fighters Pass. That's what they're working on right now is the Fighters Pass.
Yeah.
So,
when do you guys think we're gonna hear about the next fighter?
Well, June. ARMS.
All right.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. Well, I mean after ARMS.
Probably
that's fine.
Next
probably when the ARMS reveal happened. I was thinking.
I was thinking maybe whenever they have their next direct. So I mean, there's rumors for August-ish or something. So probably
imagine if it actually ends up being in September and it's gonna be a whole year since the last full direct. Think about that. It's already been over 8 months, nearly 9 months.
Yeah. It's
crazy. Time is flying, guys.
It is. It's flying. This year's been trash, but it's good. The good news is that it's flying by. We're going midway through May. We're going to be halfway through the year. So the faster we get out of 2020, the better, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, way better to get out of this year. This year is just. It's going to keep getting worse before it gets better, though. So.
Hey, well, we'll see. We'll see.
I see what Shadow Fox is playing.
Oh yeah, you already know.
What do you play? What do you guys play?
He's playing Streets of Rage. I'm playing Smash.
Nice. Julio says, are directs still a thing for Nintendo to announce games? Yeah, sure. They'll still have directs. They had a direct earlier this year. So yeah. I don't know if there's any other questions. Shadow Fox, Sakurai mentioned recently that they're just finishing DLC and can't work on the net play until a later date, but it sounds like they got a plan to optimize it. Sakurai just mentioned that. Where did he mention that at? That's cool if he did.
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah, that's really dope.
He probably feels the same way we do. Why is the internet lagging at times? He probably knows, obviously.
Oh yeah, they know. Yeah, they know because they test it. They know.
They play the game.
They play the game. Yeah. It's very.
To him though, he's probably like, Jesus, it's even worse over here in America. These Americans have horrible internet.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking what. Why is their internet so bad?
I don't think it's probably not as bad in when Japanese players are playing against each other. Maybe probably not anywhere near as bad.
Yeah, I mean they have their own. They have state sponsored internet, so everybody has it.
Yeah.
Versus, here you play against a match against somebody, they might be 1 megabit per second.
America has such bad, like that has such bad, like you need to pay a lot in order to get quality internet here. Like you need to pay $100 plus, and for many people that's just not feasible.
Someone came to my stream here. 1 megabyte upload, 1 megabyte download, and I'm like, what?
Those are the same people
I
that
can get better than that using my phone. Jesus,
those are the same people that complain about the online, like the GOAT. Remember the GOAT?
Those are the same people playing online, and that's the issue. That's the issue.
Those are the same people that complain about the online too. They roll in with the satellite net. They got net zero satellite connection, bro. A dial up satellite connection. Then roll up talk about this online play is trash.
Yeah, it's like maybe find some better internet if you can, please,
but
to help save us all.
It's just pricey. Internet's expensive. Like even like for my internet, like I think I paid $96, and it's not like I'm getting super FiOS speeds. I'm getting good speeds.
Are you getting 80 up, 80 down, or
no? I'm getting like 200 down and like 30 to 40 up.
Well, 200 down is really good.
Yeah, 200 down's good. 200 down's really good.
I got 300 down, but only like 15 up.
Yeah,
I'm literally 80-60. I'm like that's what mine is. I'm so shocked.
Which is
I FiOS,
these are all solid internet, but Japan's is way faster. Like
and everybody has it. So
yeah, they're. I mean, Japan. It's like I'm hearing 300 down, 300 up for Japan. Minimum.
That's crazy.
Like legit fiber everywhere.
So
I mean, I'm max bandwidth over here, but it's like my neighbor next door could be 1 megabit down. Like it's ridiculous where it's probably better for them to come over to my house and play instead of
playing. You might as well just give them the Wi-Fi password. Like,
and we're right next to each other. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's internet still has a long way to go. And which always makes me think like, man, I remember the Brawl days. People
Lord.
People think
the Brawl days was terrible.
It was way worse.
And that was the beginning of wireless internet getting fast too. So you had to tell people like, just get that LAN adapter, bro. Like just get the adapter.
Yeah, the Brawl days were some of the worst online play.
The worst. No, they were the worst.
The worst online play. It makes this seem like absolutely nothing. Yes, our standards they've increased since Brawl, which they should, rightfully so. But Brawl was an absolute unplayable nightmare.
Brawl matches
online.
were slideshows.
It's unless you knew exactly who you were playing against and you guys both had somewhat decent connections, Brawl would work 1-on-1. Not 4 players, but man, Brawl was an absolute nightmare, But yeah, I pay $100 for my internet a month, so yeah, I should be getting great internet, I should be getting really good internet.
I will give a tip though for this system in particular. I had somebody try to troll me on Twitter today because we played a couple of matches about a week and a half ago. And I guess they were trying to say that I was lagging at one point in time. If you do have 802.11 AC throughout your house, when you put this thing in suspend mode and you go into another room, put in a different dock in your house, like I do all the time, check your network settings because it will just find whatever the nearest setting of your access point in your house, and it will downgrade itself from 5 gigahertz to 2.4 gigahertz. So, and that is all the good 802.11 AC stuff comes on 5 gigahertz. So if you're not doing that, you are starving yourself, and it's not for bandwidth, it's for latency. You want the least amount of latency as possible. So I'm pretty sure if he was complaining about me lagging at any point in time, it was then, and then after that, all our matches were fast anyway. But it was somebody else lagging in that lobby we were in to begin with. Because as soon as I came in, everybody was lagging out, and then as soon as the other guy left, everything speeded up. So whatever. Just make sure that y'all check this. Check your, as you go from room to room, or as you suspend your system and turn it back on. Make sure you're getting 5 gigahertz out of that thing. and you can get full bandwidth.
Isaiah asked a question, says, what do you guys think about, I got to get you guys out of here. It's like, well, this will be the last question. He says, Isaiah Dova says, what do you guys think about Call of Duty Modern Warfare being 200 gigabytes? I'm not even, I don't even
have the
but that's the future.
200 gigabytes.
Screw that crap, dude.
People need to learn to condense.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I think that I'm never gonna play that game. That's 200 gigabytes is ridiculous. No game is worth that to me. I don't care what it is. It better be. The only game that I would do that for would be Chrono Trigger, completely Chrono Trigger remake, Chrono Trigger Chrono Cross remake, double pack, complete remake, the full game, added new content and everything, completely remastered score, graphics that look like Final Fantasy VII Remake Plus, and you get both of them on deck for $60. That's the only game that I would do that for. Outside of that, I ain't doing it for nothing.
And then right after that, Smash Ultimate 2 will come out in 8K in every Nintendo song on every soundtrack ever, and it'll be 13 gigs.
I know. The fact that Smash was under 16, that's just crazy. I mean, without the DLC, it's under 16, so that's nuts, man.
Yeah, it's probably 20 with all the DLC on.
Yeah, I haven't checked, but yeah, definitely with all the crap that it has. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. We're going to start off with VC. VC, where can they find you at, man?
You can find me at youtube.com/VCIPZ. You can also find me at twitter.com/VCIPZ. If you guys can follow me on Twitter at VCIPZ, I would really appreciate that, as well as YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. We're about to reach 1,200 subscribers. And I dropped a new video recently. Hilarious video. That's going to be the link I'm putting in the chat. It's a hilarious video about Summer Triangles Fest. Games Fest. It's games, not triangles. Summer Triangles Fest. Oh, nope. Games Fest. And the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. Definitely check it out. Subscribe. All that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially like video games and all that. Live streams, music.
You better subscribe.
Avedon, where can they find you at, my man?
Avedon.
You guys can find me at youtube.com/Avedon Smith or youtube.com/Beats for Breakfast. Tomorrow we have another episode of Beats for Breakfast. Excuse me. And the episode we're going to have chips and sticks. So make sure you guys go ahead and tune in for that episode. As far as the content on the channel, we have music content, and I posted on Twitter today, and I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about bringing back the beat breakdowns and bringing them back in full quality, like the full sit downs like we used to back, about around this time last year. So I'm gonna bring back those videos, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm bringing back the Avedon Smith channel with edited content.
Yay!
Nice.
I had enough of just doing live streams all the time, and I will do live streams, but that's the other topic. I talked to these gentlemen after the stream about that, so you guys will find out eventually. Love you, but not now.
Go subscribe. And then, of course, the man, Shadow Fox. Where can they find you at?
Y'all can find me at youtube.com/ShadowFoxInfinite. You can find me on Twitter, also Destroying Souls at ShadowFoxRK, ARCHE. And I should have a video up tonight. If it's not up tonight, it'll be up first thing in the morning, depending on how I feel. So it'll be about the whole PlayStation 5 Unreal Engine 5 fiasco. So pay attention.
So the triangles.
Yeah, for the triangles in detail.
Hail some of the stuff the triangles. All praises to the triangles.
Yes. It's
bow to the triangles of power of digital graphic technology.
I think micro polygons was said a lot too in that same video. I think that's a close second. Micro polygons.
Look, this stuff's important,
it's
guys.
The future.
It's very important.
This stuff's
these triangles, super important.
Yep, because they make all of the triangles inside.
You guys don't realize this. You guys don't realize these triangles.
We see the potential, but all they said was triangles like 40 times.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. In terms of content for my channel, I'm not exactly sure what video I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do a video before I go to sleep. There'll be something. If not, I'll cut up the Chrono Trigger gameplay for you guys tomorrow morning. It's just this week's just been crazy for streaming, so I'm a little tired. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. I just might wake up tomorrow morning and cut up a video for you guys. So look out for that. Tomorrow we also got what are we doing tomorrow? We've got streaming, so we will definitely have a long stream tomorrow. We got Super Smash Brothers gameplay as well, so we'll be playing some Smash this week tomorrow. So if you want to member up, you guys can play there. Shout outs to Holly Warren with the last second subscription. But thank you so much for watching today, guys. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys back. Shout outs to the 400 plus people that were watching pretty much the whole stream. Appreciate you guys. So thank you so much for that support. And we will see you guys back tomorrow for more streaming. All right.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Later.
Peace.